Alright, hey folks, welcome to good old Deadly Premonition. I won't spend too long here because obviously we are the finale of the marathon and I don't want to take up too much time, but we're already going to start with the wild wonderfulness of Deadly Premonition because when we start the video game, we're going to be on a little bit of a timer before the game crashes. So when we get the run started, I've got to go fast, unironically. I've got 3 profiles. One is my main profile with a full run finished, just in case, that way I can chapter select. Speed is for a certain moment, 40 minutes into the run, where an NPC can glitch out, and we'll talk about that when we get there. And then we have the big bad Game-a-thon right here, which we're going to do the run on. I'm going to have to double check the settings because sometimes the game doesn't like to remember the camera inversion. And I really do need a little bit of camera inversion for my aim, because I was brought up on the days of good old GoldenEye and Perfect Dark with a little bit of camera inversion, so that's stuck, unfortunately. Double unfortunately, this game doesn't remember your camera inversion. I love this game to bits, I really do. Let me double check. Okay, aim setting is fine. Camera setting being normal is fine. I don't look up with the camera in this game. I do look down, however, as you'll see. Alright, so let's get going. The timer starts when we get to the first bit here, because the Switch version has the Switch and the PS3 versions have this special cutscene that aren't in other versions. So we're going to skip that, and then we're going to go in 3, 2, 1, go. So at points like this, it's going to get a bit crunchy. Y'all are getting this 20 decibels quieter than I am, due to the way that my audio is set up. It's going to get worse. If the game sounds a bit quiet at points, it is, but it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get loud. So if it's too quiet, just bear in mind it's gonna get loud at some point. But this is Deadly Premonition. So we begin in the Red Room. If you want an explanation of what the Red Room is, go watch Twin Peaks, I guess. That's probably the best piece of advice I could give. But we're now playing as Francis York Morgan. We are a we're an FBI agent sent to, as he puts it, a town in the boonies, so that we can go and help out with this investigation on a serial killer called the Raincoat Killer, who's apparently murdered somebody here and had murdered somebody very much a long time in the past. So we're here to just investigate, and we start off with pretty much a set piece set in an alternate forest. So this is the forest that's nearby. You can tell it's alternate because the sky is red. Don't worry about the dog. The dog is gonna come back with a vengeance later. A very, very large vengeance. The dogs in this game get kind of big, as you'll see. But yeah, the audio is gonna get a bit crackly at times. There's nothing I can do about it. It's not my capture. It's not my setup. It is literally the video game. And also, for reference, I am running on the Switch version. As someone alluded to in chat, oh, the PC version of this video game. I've got plenty of time later on to talk about the differences between the versions of this game, because, boy, this is a video game, and some of the things that can happen in the different versions of these games is wild. I pressed start one too many times, my bad. So you'll see on the right hand side, extra for profiling. So every time we do these profile sections, which you have to go through for the game, you get a little bit of money. What the game calls Agent Honor. We're also going to get given wages at certain points, and you wouldn't think so, but money's actually kind of tight in this game. We're going to be making specific purchases at specific points, and we're going to have a buffer of about $200. So, ironically enough, I want to take out enemies properly, like with headshots and stuff, so that I get like a little bit of extra money. The top left, this is important for now because I'm about to run out of it. We have health, and then we have tension. So tension kind of acts as your stamina. It also changes depending on like what activities we're doing. We need to manage our tension gauge properly throughout the run. Otherwise, we're going to have a couple problems. Here comes a little bit of crunch, by the way. That's what I'm talking about, folks. They're used to that. It's gonna get worse later on. This is why the game is a little quiet, because that's gonna happen quite often. Nice dodge on that enemy. The enemy was in a bad position because of my stamina management. And we're gonna shoot the door here. So we're kind of in that Resident Evil 4 OG era of third-person shooters. I went a little too far out there, but that's fine. I don't want to get grabbed by the enemy. If you get grabbed by the enemy, you are going to lose about 15 seconds. So we really don't want to get grabbed by any enemy if it's possible. We are going to get a good bit of speed tech actually coming up at the end of this set piece. It's amazing speed tech. You've moved in front of me, which is unfortunate. Usually you're a bit further back. Please stay back there. That's good. When we run past enemies, and I'll point it out like with the different enemies like these ones, we want to be on the right-hand side for these ones because their dodge is going to push them away from where we are, and ideally with the right angle will push them away from being in the door frame. So even though I'm running past a lot of these enemies, a couple of these enemies I'm doing it specifically to make it so that they don't get in my way. And also, you know what everybody loves? QTEs! I'm very much not used to Switch controls, so I have to remind myself for every single one of these QTEs that B is on the bottom and X is on the top. And at that point, I know where the other two are. So that QTE is not an insta-kill. There are insta-kill QTEs in this game, and they give you less time than that to react to them. This is decent stamina management at least, and we're done with our first set piece. So basically, we have found this red ivy and stuff growing all around here. We've seen this axe in this generator, so that's basically our introduction to the Raincoat Killer. Now, here's a bit of speed tech that I don't think many people know exists. This is funny. So you're supposed to run like 300 yards down this bridge to our left. What happens if I just, you know, go into my inventory and have a smoke for about 30 minutes? They get so bored of waiting for you that the game just triggers the next cutscene anyway, and it saves you about 20 seconds. We're going to be using a lot of smoking tech in this speedrun. You're going to see some wild stuff. We're going to break this game. And unfortunately, it's also going to break on us. Which is unfortunate. There is a giant skip later on that's going to let us skip an entire chapter. You can technically do it early in the game, like as early as the next chapter. But the downside is something breaks, and it doesn't allow us to progress through the finale. We think it's a missing NPC texture, but we've never figured it out, sadly. So we're going to get given a tutorial here on how to hold your breath and do stealth mechanics. Pro tip. Don't do this. Like, you can just hold your breath at any point during the game. Don't. It's bad. The whole purpose of this is for these specific bits where we have to, like, intentionally hold our breath so we don't get an instant game over, which that might happen. I'm just putting it out there. Every so often, for some reason, in these sections, my Switch likes to go back to the dashboard. I have no idea if that's the game or if that's my Switch. If that happens, I die and I lose a predetermined amount of time. But most of the time, we're just gonna have to hold it for, like, you know, 30, 40 seconds at a time like this. This is a terrible mechanic. I don't know why it exists in this game, but it's great. Again, you'll hear me say a lot about Deadly Premonition, about, like, certain terrible gameplay decisions. I love this game. I absolutely adore this game to bits. Like, this is a cult classic in every sense of the word, and you'll understand why with this next set of cutscenes, because there's a cutscene here that will give you the entire vibes of Deadly Premonition in a nutshell that you might think I'm just not skipping because I like it. You can't actually skip it, which is fantastic because it's one of the best cutscenes in this game. We really need some coffee. We really need some coffee. Head to the sheriff's office. Like, York really likes coffee. Procedure for everything, right, Zach? Now, here's the best thing. That's actually a mechanic in this game. And it's going to be important for the run. So, this is Polly. This is the dining table.
Right, Mr. Morgan?
It's all right that I'm not going to say anything. Love this background track, by the way. Life is beautiful. And at this point, this is unskippable. And this is Deadly Premonition.
Did you see that, Zach? Clear as a crisp spring morning. F.K. in the coffee. I knew I could count on it. Never fails.
This is Deadly Premonition. If you've never seen Deadly Premonition, that's the vibes. This game is phenomenal. This is why it's a cult classic. There are many cutscenes like that in this game. It is amazing. And again, you literally cannot skip that. That's not me not skipping that because I want to see it. You cannot skip that. And the best part is, that's actually very important to the plot of this game. No kidding. You'll see. You'll see. Also the pickles. There is the can of pickles. So, let's get into one of the big reasons as to why Deadly Premonition is a terrible game, depending on what version you're playing. Also, the note says 9 till 5 question mark? It's absolutely a question mark. So we get given a police car by Sheriff George Woodman, who you'll get to see real soon. Welcome to the driving of Deadly Premonition, which, depending on which version of Deadly Premonition you are playing, is worse than the others. The most reliable version of this game to run is the Switch version, which has the worst driving. This is me tapping the left stick once. Now, I'm panning the camera down because much like old games of yore, I need the frame rate to stay stable. By panning the camera down during driving sections, this will save me between 10 to 15 minutes over this entire run. Now, the nice thing is the cars are actually fixed spawns, so I know when they're gonna appear. Oh, I was a bit too late to get to the middle here. The idea here is you want to try and be in the middle of the road as much as possible, apart from like 1 or 2 sections. You'll also notice that when I'm using the sirens, my tension gauge is going up. It is also speeding the car up. So it is a way of actually boosting the police car. However, I love this game because there's always a however. When we get to, say, grass, like this bit on the left, which I need to cut across here, notice my speedometer, and then notice when I use the boost. It loses you speed. It legitimately loses you speed to boost on the grass. The Switch version of Deadly Premonition is a treat. That sign doesn't exist, by the way. These trees do. My angle is off because it is so hard to drive in this game. Big glowing green rings are your signs of, hey, this is our next story segment, even. I was going to say moment, but then I said segment. We're going to meet the local residents of the sheriff's office. This is Thomas. I love Thomas a lot. Thomas is a goddamn psychopath. Thomas has created a filing system with a bunch of squirrel keys, but first we're going to go and find this. This dumbbell is called Arnold. Arnold is very important for the speedrun, and also very important if you want to play this game casually, trust me. We're then going to go and see Sheriff George Woodman, who's got himself one dumbbell called Sylvester, and he's lost Arnold. Thankfully, we have Arnold. That music plays every time you do a side story. It's so good. So, make sure to talk to George again, because I didn't in that run the other day, and then I lost my entire run. So, we give him Arnold. Arnold and Sylvester, you can... yeah, you can guess. Also that music. So, the reason why we're doing this is that we need to do George's second quest, but we can't get his second quest until we finish his first quest. So with that done, we now need to engage with Thomas's theatrics. Thomas has 6 squirrel keys hidden around the police station. Try and guess where the correct actual key is for the filing system. That's correct. It's in the middle jail cell. Thomas, why? So, all the important documents that are opened with this key are just in a jail cell, down at the bottom of the jail. It's always the same one every single time. The nice thing is, there is going to be a long load here. Every time we go in this door, it just happens. It's not just me standing here, it's just loading. At which point, we give Thomas the key to the filing cabinet, and there we go. I genuinely love Thomas. We will be talking about Thomas later on. They're a fantastic character in this game.
You found the key?
One of, like, the actual deepest characters in this entire game. And with that, we talk a little bit more about the case. Thomas is a very good cook, by the way. You'll see on the loading screens, Thomas's biscuit. Thomas's biscuit is a very, very good healing item. One of the best. Okay. So if you thought the driving looked bad before, let's throw in a little bit of instability. Instability how? Rain. There are rain physics in this game that make your car slide even more. Unfortunately, we don't see the Sinner sandwich in the run. It is a cutscene that is skippable, unfortunately. Otherwise, it would be very good to show because the Sinner Sandwich is fantastic. I don't actually remember whereabouts it gets shown. So I'm already sliding before the rain's even begun. That's why I'm trying to, you know, let go of the boost as I'm going around certain corners. I will... Oh, yes, you can flip the car, by the way. No, we don't want to. We're going to be taking a shortcut. There's a couple of shortcuts across town. The map in this game, for anyone who's played it, will attest the map is just a horrible thing to try and use. Like, you can't zoom out on it. It's so bad. For certain segments, I will do some of these conversations, but you need to not be in a conversation when you reach your destination, otherwise you lose time. So for certain ones like this, where I'm going to be cutting this journey short, I don't have the time to do some of these conversations. This is me tapping the left stick, by the way. If you want a good time in Deadly Premonition, learn how to drive. Like, I'm not kidding. If you learn how to drive, you'll literally shave off like 10 to 15 minutes. Now, the important thing is the bottom right, where you can see a fuel gauge and a durability gauge. The fuel gauge is going to be fine. It's the durability gauge that's a problem. We're going to be getting out of the car here. You may have seen it on the mini-map. There is a flower on the right-hand side. It only spawns in the rain. And also, you can't get it if you're above the hitbox for it. So you then look at that lovely 1 FPS. You kind of have to go at it from like below as an angle rather than above. But that flower is an important item that only spawns in the rain, which this is always guaranteed to rain here. And it is for George's second quest. At this point, we're going to head to the hospital. We need to head to the hospital because we are going to go to the morgue. The morgue is part of the hospital here because this is, again, a small town, so everything's kind of connected. It's not very small if you see the size of the map. It is it's a small town out here in the country. It is a place called Greenvale. It is fantastic. I'm not boosting here because I don't want to miss my turn, because if I get caught here, it's going to be a problem. Again, this is literally me just tapping the left stick. This is how rough the actual driving in this game is on the Switch version. The best version to drive on is either the PC or 360 version. Again, good luck getting the PC version to work. The PS3 version, despite being the worst version of the game, actually has much better handling than the Switch version does. It's weird. It's the one thing that the PS3 version actually wins on. Now, I said Thomas is a psychopath, but actually every member of this village or little town is a psychopath, because to get into the morgue, we have to play a game of chess. Or at least do a chess puzzle. 2, 3, 5, 1, 4, 6. If you don't know what chess is, there are some posters on the side that you can use to, you know, give you the answer. That face. This game is great. Legitimately, you actually just need to, like, do that, like, solution. In fact, it's the same one every time. Now, look at the direction that we now have to go from doing this puzzle to getting to the actual morgue itself. Who designed this place? This is a hospital. This is a hospital. Like, this is actually a little bit of a precursor because we're actually about to have the alternate hospital. So this is technically showing you the route that you have to take, but in reverse. And the music stops. Now it's atmospheric. This game might not have good balancing in terms of like audio level, but the audio in this game is phenomenal. Like, the most cheerful song will play during the worst times, and it's great. And no, you haven't missed the whistle song. You will get it in the run, I promise. Multiple times, actually. It's unavoidable. So this is Usher. This is the local, obviously, consultant. He used to be a big shot doctor in LA and decided to just move here. This is Anagram. This is the very first victim. You can see her in the opening intro movie. You need to look at her face twice and then her hands once each. And with that, here comes the alternate hospital. Don't ask how this is here all of a sudden, it just is. And yes, her name is Anna Graham, as in Anagram. Word puns and puns are very, very in effect in sweary games. We'll talk about Deadly Premonition 2 later, trust me, I've got plenty of time for that later on. But yeah, we're following the ghost of Anna. I'm hoping that this enemy is in a good spot, because this is one of those that can be kind of bad. Very nice, good. It's a very tight angle, but that was very well done. For certain enemies, what we're going to do to take care of them is ideally headshot.
Bullseye.
I missed. If you headshot, you'll get a funny little quip like, you know, bullseye, yes, etc. The idea that we want is left first. I always go the wrong way first. The idea that we want is that when you take care of an enemy, oh, that's bad. It's gonna, yeah, move you backwards. When you take care of an enemy, their hitbox is still active. So despite the fact that you've taken care of the enemy, you have to do one more shot, like with whatever weapon that you're using, to make sure they go down. The crying here is, of course, a red key gun. I know what you were expecting. It's a red key card. The enemies do spawn in this room. You just leave. The amount of times you can just leave a room in this game is fantastic. Movement is very important in this run, considering, you know, enemies need to react to, like, your position and where you're going. The camera changes depending on, like, what position you have it during... Yeah, that was lightning that lit up the room, by the way. Depending on what position you have it during, like, the transition between rooms. We're going to be changing to our knife for the next room. For any kind of barricade, it takes, I want to say, like, 50 shots of your pistol to break this box. Not kidding. Wow, you got very close to me for once. That's kind of terrifying. We see the ghost of Anagram again. She's kind of giving us hints as to where to go. We're going to go to the MRI machine, as you do. I'm going to be picking up a safety heal just in case. I had a little bit of an issue with a run earlier that I almost died to, so I'm just going to go over here and grab the medium. Turn off the computer. Or turn on the MRI. And of course, what's inside the MRI? The keycard. I can leave. I want the camera on this angle so I can go past this corner and then past this guy. Very nice. Gun time. We used to use a pipe for this bit, and pipes take care of enemies, or these enemies, in one hit, which is really good. But we use the pipe for a second purpose later on in the run that we now completely skip. Also, from this point on, I'm going to be losing a little bit of time each chapter because I'm going to be using the end of chapter save just to save the game to make sure that it doesn't crash. It shouldn't do. We have to close this game down twice to be able to make sure the game doesn't crash. Game's great. It's well made. That goes for every version of the game, not just Switch. That includes PC. It includes PC. I don't know if it includes the original Xbox. Again, make sure you get that last hit. I want to hit this guy, please. Thanks, lock-on. Usually the lock-on in this game is very good. Shot. There you go. When you take care of all the enemies, you have a little bit of time left to grab this medium and sometimes the small first over here. Helps a little bit for spare stuff later on. And that is the alternate hospital. That's it. We meet a very important character here that we're not going to talk about just yet. We're going to meet Harry, who is the owner of the entire town. He's in a wheelchair and a gas mask. That's important. Get these nice little, like, end chapter things that keep our account of, like, how many enemies we've taken care of. That's actually kind of important for the run because we have to, like, close the game multiple times. It's to make sure that, you know, we don't, you know, have anyone who loads a wrong save. I should have made the save there, but it'll be fine. Fine if I can just get to the top of this next bit. Oh, actually, we need to do a thing, right? This is the Lysander part. That's right. So once again, we're going to be heading off with George and Emily. One thing that I haven't touched on just yet, if you look in the bottom left, there is a time limit. And there is also the time that it currently is on the minimap. Some of these sections, if you hit that time limit, will be an instant game over. Some of them will teleport you. That's going to be important in about an hour. But essentially, you want to get to all of the points in time. This is a long drive, so I will give you the dialogue here. You get to hear some of the wonderful characters in this game. Right.
Anna's body was discovered by the woods.
It's a little quiet because the audio balance in this game ain't great.
Grandchildren, Isaac and Isaiah. What were they doing in the forest?
Just their daily routine. They found Anna's body during a morning walk.
So you've talked to them already?
Not officially. Not yet.
Not yet. Are you out of your mind? You haven't interviewed them yet?
Agent York, that tone is hardly appropriate. We were given orders to wait for you to arrive.
Orders by who?
A man called Abrams.
Old Bob Abrams.
Robert, is it? Good old Bob Abrams. I did tell him to stay out of it. It's always tough to have a meddling boss.
Even in the same conversation, the audio just jumps.
Don't worry about it. We may not have taken official statements, but we got all the information we need. I can fill you in right now if you'd like.
Thanks, George, but that won't be necessary. I want to hear the details from the witnesses themselves, firsthand.
I just can't believe that the children had to witness the crime scene. They may be traumatized. You'd better do this carefully.
Don't tell me you get nervous talking to children, Emily.
Not at all. That's not what I meant.
Then what did you mean?
Just forget it.
Emily is probably the most normal character in this game, as you're gonna very quickly find out. So, what we're doing is we're going the quickest way to get to what is called the Tree of Anna, because that's where Anna's body was found. It's going to be a place we go back to multiple times, and it's also a very good resting spot for certain points of the run. But on the way, we're going to stop at a place that's going to look a bit weird, because we're going to jump out of our car and then we're just going to get back in again. It's going to look like we do literally nothing, but it's actually very important for the run. Because there is something in this run that we are working towards called something very useful, fast travel. And obviously fast travel in a speedrun is pretty good and pretty important, especially in a game that has a map this big. But one of the things that's really interesting and compelling about this route, you can get fast travel locations before you get access to fast travel. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to do that with a certain few locations, one of which is Lysander's. Now I'm going to go a little bit into Lysander's here so that I guarantee I would hit the left side of the fence. It's really hard to turn, so I want to like actually get a good line up here. That's why I have to like reverse out. I'm going to go inside and get a bad position on the car, but guarantee that Lysander's is on my fast travel. If you're a bit closer to the gate, the car will be on the side of the road here, but I'd rather go a little bit further in there for a marathon and guarantee that I get Lysander's on my fast travel. And with that, we're going to take another little shortcut over here. Speaking of fast travel locations, it would have been really nice if the graveyard had a fast travel location, because if we carry on the road on the left, then we'd have been able to get to the graveyard and get a fast travel location for later on in the game. But unfortunately, it doesn't have a fast travel location, which really sucks because there's a second pathway through that gets back to this field. Now, I mentioned it earlier, this is very important at this bit. Bottom right, fuel and durability. My fuel's getting lower, don't worry about that. It's the durability that's, yeah, a little terrifying. If you land on any of these breakable fences or boxes, etc., your car can break. And it's a game over. You go all the way back to the start of this segment. You'll also notice I'm letting go of the accelerator every time I go onto one of these ramps. It is exceedingly easy to flip the car face forward. If that happens, you get put in like the middle of these like pathways and you have to like reverse and go back and then turn around. It's pretty bad. Again, this is me tapping the left stick and this isn't even the worst it's going to get in this run. Just wait for about 30 minutes. It's going to get way worse. But with that, we have a nice little shortcut. Try and get the cone off the front of the car, because yes, it does do a lot of damage over time. And again, the actual money that we're getting the Agent Honor is very important for the run, as you'll see. The start is fine. It's when we get to about the 3/4 mark where we need our money. And with that, we get to the scene of the first murder, the Tree of Anna. We get to meet some more of the locals, including the kids, Isaac and Isaiah, who found the body initially. That's weird. Sometimes it doesn't let me skip cutscenes. I don't know why. That tree right there has a bird nest. That's got one of our clues. Isaac and Isaiah.
Tell me.
That's the red tree, which is important. George is to our right with another clue.
So
and there's Emily.
She had a red dress on. Her hair was shining. Right, gold
I love this conversation.
There were
It's so
lots of animals
stupid.
around her. Squirrel, weasel, and a snake. A real snake.
A real snake.
Until then, we know now, Anna was the fairy of the
One of these kids is about to go full Disney Goofy in a second, by the way.
She saw us. She looked so happy.
That's right, Isaac. Isaiah. She was a fairy. A goddess. I'm sure she is playing with those animals even now.
Of course she is.
Of course she is.
Of course.
Why I love that voice line. But they just go full Goofy.
What?
Yeah, they're supposed to be like remnants of like, you know, The Shining, etc., etc. You know the drill. Creepy twin kid characters, blah, blah, blah. Like, they're actually like decent characters in this game. Like,
Zach, something is...
so... Once again, to our investigation, we're going to go to the tree and we're going to, at first, find 2 bent pieces of grass. This is going to lead us to believe that there were 2 people that came in contact with Anna's body before everybody else did. Picture of a vest with holes that has an upside-down peace mark. I don't know what that picture's doing there, but it just is. Pop on my gun. You have to re-equip it, otherwise the game thinks you haven't got anything equipped. I didn't reload in the last chapter, so... I miss. If you're at the right angle, you can get this as it's falling down, but it's actually to the left of the bird nest, which is a bit weird. A broken pinheel shoe. And then back to our mission knife to break down barricades. Again, you really want to use a melee weapon for barricades until we get our next weapon, which we should be getting real soon, actually. It's 3 hits. It'd be 2 if it was a steel pipe, but again, 3 for the mission knife. Gun out, and if I can stand about here, ideally this would be the right angle. Yep. Ah, I just missed the timing. You can get it like a second earlier if you can get it before it hits the ground. And we find a wood chip, which leads us to the lumber mill. So where are we going next? We have to destroy the local bird wildlife, unfortunately. Not too bad. See, I'm gonna, again, as I said, I'm gonna take a quick little safety save here, just in case. It's obviously a lot slower to save the game than to just carry on, but with how temperamental this game can be at times, I'm gonna take these safeties. I do have a full save of safety saves just in case we need it. This is one of the worst driving segments because we're going downhill around corners and it's raining. So when I get about halfway down this road here, you're gonna see me take off the brake, the boost, and the accelerator. Because this sucks. This is one of the biggest, easiest points to flip the car. And even though I said don't boost on the grass, for this bit, you want to. Because otherwise you'll flip. This corner's fine, it's the next corner. It's always on the right turns.
Closed up right when I first moved here.
And now it's
Just gonna be safe here, because yep, it's happening.
So, I've never really been inside, so I don't know for sure, but it sure is run down.
Deserted buildings are perfect for criminal hideouts and activities. I keep telling Harry to have the place torn down.
probably it's already been used as the site of Lana's murder.
We don't know that for sure yet, Agent Morgan.
Don't we, George? Don't we? Interesting comment.
Selected lumber.
Agent York, you seem very confident about this.
Confident.
There isn't any traffic on this road, which is good.
Confidence is a sweet spot between rude and
You hear that, chat? Sweet spot between rude and hopeless.
illusions from facts that you've seen.
That sounds exactly like being full of confidence, at least to me, and to normal people with common sense.
Common sense can be the opposite of fact sometimes.
Oh, I will, Agent York. Thank you for another pearl of wisdom.
Either way, we'll know for sure by simply going to the lumber mill. So keep your pearls of wisdom to yourself. And let's
I'd like to bounce off that just to get me around the corner.
Can you step on it, Agent York?
Okay, having can you step on it when we get to the gate is actually really good. That means my driving was pretty good this time. Again, I would show you more of the actual scenery if I could, but I need to keep the frame rate lowered so I don't lose 10 minutes over the course of this run and go over estimate. The driving. The driving's just gonna get worse. This is actually a shame because my driving was really good when I did a practice run earlier, so a little disappointed. Again, you get speed off this and you get slower on the gravel. This is the alternate lumber mill, and this place sucks. This is a very long set piece that has some of the worst QTEs that you will see. So one thing that I haven't mentioned just yet, because it's about to start being a bit more prominent from here on, some barricades, you can see this fence on the left and more importantly the one on the right coming up, already look like they're damaged. That's because they are. So for these ones, we are going to be hitting them instead of the other ones, so it only takes 2 hits instead of 3 to go down. And hey look, there's our raincoat killer. There's a serial killer we've been tracking down and trying to figure out why he's murdering people. Say he, could be a she. Never know. I mean, I kind of do know, but you know. Also, yes, the cigarette is important for every investigation. Does the same in Deadly Premonition 2 as well. Now, the nice thing is, this is very clearly the site of Anna's murder because there is a ritual sacrifice ground here, but next to the ritual sacrifice ground on a chair is a 10mm submachine gun. Ho ho ho, now I have a machine gun. This is actually a very good weapon. The submachine gun's actually very, very good. There are infinite ammo weapons. I know some people will be curious if we get them in the run. We don't because they take a bit too long. By the way, phone call for you, chat. Ah! Upside down peace mark. In blood. We'll figure out the meaning behind that later on. But for now, this now unlocks the key cabinet that allows us to get this key right here. There is a full cooked salmon in the locker next to us that we used to get in the run, but we don't anymore. Food is important, just like real life. So there are 2 gauges that you haven't seen just yet, a food gauge and a hunger gauge. We're going to be playing around with those just after the set piece. Because you've got a little bit of a problem where if your food gauge hits 0, you will actually start dying. I got a bad hit on that last one. If you walk forward and backwards like that, you do full hits. And now we're going to start using the submachine gun. Now, ideally, I can get a good angle on this next enemy because this next enemy is a little bit in the way. But if I can get to the left-hand side... Nice, good. Push them backwards. Very good. So a lot of this set piece, we have 180 bullets. They have to last for the entire set piece. So again, we're going to be aiming for headshots and knocking them down. 168 to like 150 is like the amount of bullets you want after that enemy. Ideally in the 160s. We're going to follow the sounds of a crying baby a couple of times. Try and guess what the crying baby is. This first thing isn't the crying baby, just for reference, because it's it's a little disgusting. There's a toilet full of red liquid. It's not actually blood. It's whatever's like around it, but... You know, the horror tropes and all that jazz. If I can get the right angle here, I can get past this guy to the right. Nice, good. These angles can be a little tight at times. That one's not too bad. This next enemy is always in the way, so I'm just not going to bother trying to get past them. So we're just going to shoot immediately. Again, headshot reward on the right-hand side. That's what we're trying to get. Get a bunch of those. Hopefully you're not a problem. Good. Usually that enemy is not a problem. Very rarely that enemy can actually walk in the way. And our crying baby is finally here. In the coin locker is a gearbox. That's the crying baby. Run backwards to spawn in the next bit. Run forward to spawn in the enemy. As the last one spawns in, shoot the barrel to get rid of them. Wait here. We want the one on the left to get a bit closer. And boom. That's going to take care of all the enemies. Even though we should be on the ground, the cutscene picks us back up. And because we exploded the barrel, it also is a big enough radius to hit that box as well. There are enemies in the side rooms, like on either side, and also these big splotches on the wall, but we don't need to deal with them or go into any of them. You can get like a couple like bullets or like food items sometimes, but now we don't need to. These enemies are usually frustrating. I don't know why York stopped there. You're normally fine. It's you that's the problem. I'm not giving you half a second to get in my way. He actually did walk the right way that time. I think I actually could have gotten past him, but that enemy is frustrating. We're going to peek this corner where there is an enemy and an explosive barrel. You want to be very careful because explosion hitboxes linger in this game. So, literally, if you, like, walk too far forward there, you'll get caught by the explosion and take full damage. And then also, like, flinch for a couple seconds. He's a bit too close to the left, so I have to go around to his right. There we go. Their enemy usually gets aggroed, but he didn't this time. Yeah, DP2 does have... DP2 is wild. Like, I'm going to talk about DP2's run later, because there's parts of DP2's run that you have to do the right thing at the right time, otherwise you can't complete Chapter 1. Which sounds weird, but you can go into debt in DP2. And you kind of need to. Which is the weird thing, but if you're in debt, or in too much debt between chapters, you can't progress the game. It's so weird. Also, if you own DP2 on PC, play it on PC instead of Switch. You get at least 60 FPS on that. It's, like, a lot nicer. I'm also using the lock-on function to, like, aim at enemies here because they're so nice. The lock-on function in this game is actually really good. Like, the lock-on function in this game actually does work quite well, despite the fact it didn't work well in the hospital earlier. You don't want to run against this door because, again, your stamina management is going to be very important coming up here. I'm turning the light off just to save a little bit of frame rate. This door needs a handle, so we're going to go and find a hand. As you can see on the right-hand side of the wall, there are a bunch of red hands. They're, like, leading you on the way. But what I'm going to do is specifically not go the way they are. I'm going to go here, shoot the fence, because that pushes that enemy back into the wall. We're now going to hope that that enemy stays in the wall. There's a puzzle here. The solution is actually on the door behind you, but we're just going to shoot the hands and hope that we get a quick one. That's not quick to shoot, but it's at the back. It's not that great. Depending on which one is the correct one is obviously, like, sometimes a bit faster than the others to grab, obviously. You can tell here's the symbols of the fingers on the door that are supposed to symbolize what you're supposed to shoot. You two are in a good position. Now, where's this enemy? Oh, I actually got past. I shouldn't have risked that, but I actually managed to get lucky. If that enemy is in the middle of the corridor there, you should absolutely shoot them 100%. So we're going to put our hand into the door. We're just going to get a nice little handshake. And unfortunately get introduced to a mechanic that's going to get overplayed in this game that is absolutely terrible and is going to begin in this set piece. If you can hear that on the microphone, that's me wiggling my stick, because we're going to have to do that a lot. and it's gonna get bad. We've got a red finger now. Kind of nice. The thing we got from the lift earlier was damaged red hair, so that's obviously Anna's hair. And obviously the red fingernail was Anna's, so these are all clues that are leading into, you know, knowing that Anna was here. Notice these pipes have a lot of valves on them on the side. Surely hope they don't explode later on. Alright, we observe the mirror. There's the raincoat killer. I don't know how we got ahead of him, but there he goes. Melwolf Chaos is awesome. Amazing game. I actually played it for the first time year before last, the 4th of July. Amazing game. Amazing game. Okay, so my stamina management is a little too high at the minute, which isn't too bad because I was going to have to replenish this at some point anyway. I'm just going to let it get to full. So we're going to go this way instead of the right. It's a little quicker to go this way. B is on the bottom, X is on the top. Anytime you hear me say that, that is the QT coming up. Again, this one isn't insta-kill. And yes, we have to sit through this animation every single time where he wags his finger at us. Thank you very much. And they run off. All right, bye. That's the way we came from, but it's fine. By going this way, we don't have to climb up 2 different sets of like obstacles like this. So that's the reason why we want to go this way instead of the other way. Oh, didn't aim down far enough. 75 bullets at this point is still fine. Still very good. We need to turn the fuse back on so we can get power to this place, which we did. And then once again, chat, phone call for you. Who could it possibly be? Oh, they're at the door. Let's go find out. It just so happens to be the serial killer that's trying to chase us down right now. So what we're going to do is these sections right here have multiple different hiding spots. As you can probably guess, we are going to be picking specific spots. This one on the far right-hand side, which is the furthest one away from the door, gives you the least amount of hold your breath moments, which, if you remember from that tutorial earlier, the hold your breath moments are kind of bad. This is gonna last for like a good 2 minutes, by the way. These bits take a while. Game's great. Now, you might be thinking, all right, what would have happened if I'd have gone and hid in this corner that he's gonna go check here? The game is smart enough that this hiding spot that you go in, they are not going to check. Also, I don't remember the last time I've seen the door, like, held up by the chair like that. It better not break something, because I'm gonna be upset if it does. This is the nice part of this. This is the bit that's, like, lets your arm rest, because the next bit after this is horrific. But he's going to get closer, and then as he gets closer, we're going to have to hold ZR again. So by being in this hiding spot, there's only one of these. If we were in that corner spot or the middle spot, it would be 2. If you're also noticing, top left, your tension gauge is rising here. This is why you need good tension management. If your tension reaches max, you just leave the hiding spot. You might also be wondering, what does that do? Because it says go out on the bottom. It just gives you a game over. I don't know why they give you the option, but you can just get a game over if you want. Just press the A button. You know you want to do it. There's like 2 minutes in the run. Just press the A button. It's fine. You guys observe, that doesn't do anything. And with that, he just throws the axe towards our hiding spot. He will do that every time. Now we press the A button to go out. This should be good actual tension management to just get out of here. Sometimes if your tension is like a little too high still, you have to hold off a little bit, but we just want to get to the next corridor. Oh boy, I might complain a little bit about this next bit because this is terrible. This is the first of our chase sections, and these are bad. These are pure terror. So you have to wiggle the stick. And some of these are quite long, you have to wiggle a lot. This one is massively RNG. So we need to get a certain distance away. Now you might be thinking, couldn't you all just run around this box? Yes. Yes, he could. He doesn't. Now the nice thing is our raincoat killer is kind of nice and just, breaks the box for us. Appreciate you. Thank you. And then we have a little bit of speed tech, so we're going to hold push, and while still holding push, evade for this attack is going to happen. We hit the button and the box breaks. At this point, we now have to go really fast and not miss any prompt. So you've got a little picture-in-picture mode in the bottom right where you can see where the Raincoat Killer is. They're cheating and taking literal paths that don't exist to catch up to us. At this point, I now need to make sure I do not drop my movement. Which I already have, a little bit. He's going to catch me. Yeah, he's going to catch me. I actually need a valve early to get past him here, which is not going to happen. This is going to be a bad lumber mill. So as you can see, Evade appeared because guess what? These pipes are now breaking. Now I'm going to get caught. Ugh. So this is the issue. This is RNG. You'll either get caught or you won't get caught. If you get caught, you lose time. This is not an instant death, thankfully, but it's more stick wiggling. Also, despite being chased by a serial killer, York decides to open this door in the slowest way imaginable. York? Good. Now, the nice thing is I shouldn't get hit again by him, but it all depends on the valves here. Evade the first. Potentially one more. It's early. Ah, it's bad. That's a bad lumber mill. Hey, bud. Weird glitch that can happen here. If you get knocked down at the right time, he'll run straight past you and then stand in front of you where you have to be forced to walk into him and then get hit by this attack. This is how close I was, by the way. Yeah, the lumber mill chase is just a little RNG. That was with me not dropping my inputs, and I still got caught twice. Like, you can just lose your run here just to that. It's unfortunate. Hey, move to the right to avoid that enemy. Wait for this one to spawn in. Great. And that's all of our ammo that we need for this set piece. Fantastic. 60 bullets left is very good. Okay. Let's talk about insta-death QTEs, because we haven't had any yet. We're about to have one. So there are going to be certain QTEs in the game that are an insta-death if we don't do it properly. This next set of QTEs, there are going to be 5 QTEs. The first and the second are fixed. The third is random. The fourth and the fifth are fixed. So we know 4 of the inputs that we need to do for this next bit, and it's the middle one. It's the middle one that we need to pay attention to. Also, that big game crash I was talking about is potentially coming up after this. So I'm excited. This is why I have a safety save. A whole safety profile, I should say. So the first one is a good old stick wiggle. I'm hoping it goes well. If it doesn't go well, it's very easy to pick up where the game crashes. Next one is Y, so left-hand side of the controller. Next one is the random one, so pay attention. Be on bottom, X on top. Very nice. This is R, the shoulder button. So right bumper, R1. And A to shoot the gun. Easy peasy. Once you know that the middle one is random, the rest are like fixed, nice and easy. It's just the middle one to watch out for. This isn't one of the times where the game can crash. This is where an NPC can glitch out. And if the NPC glitches out and he doesn't react the way that he's supposed to afterwards, then the run is dead because I can't get fast travel. But the nice thing is, again, I have safety saves. Like, that's the reason why I made an entire set of new profiles for this run, is just to make sure that I have a safety in hand just in case. Because as much as I love this run can be pure evil. Now, we're going to make good use of glitches later on. But yeah, we've basically established from that long set piece that this was the site of Anna's murder.
That's all the information we need, Zach. Let's go back and show them what we found.
Yeah, I'm losing a bunch of time from this lumber mill thanks to the that corridor. Unfortunate. All right, so you might remember earlier, we obviously were using our car, and our car's durability has gotten down to like 30%. That's a bit of a problem. The nice thing is, we actually can take a fresh car at this point. So we're going to be taking a fresh car because we have another long journey to take. For those wondering at home, that lumber mill cost me 45 seconds. That's how bad that corridor was. Just that corridor. I'm going to make a safety save here because there's a chance that I can just reload the save and see where this man is. George.
For people.
We need George to be at his house. Now, ideally, it doesn't start raining during this trip. We think it's the rain that's causing George to not be in the location he's supposed to be in, because we went and found him. we went and looked and saw where George decided to go. And George basically glitches on one side of the map and has his hand over his head as if he's trying to get out of the rain. So we think that it's light rain, not heavy rain, that causes George to be in a bad spot. And there's also another long drive. This is a very big shortcut from the back. I'll give you some talk.
Bonus features.
If you haven't played Deadly Premonition, movie talk is a big thing in this game.
Almost no bonus material. Even if they do, the trailer and the visual quality is pretty bad. Though that visual quality is a good...
Durability is already 78. That's really bad.
So many new audio and visual appliances were coming out back then. Do you remember the first video deck we bought? We bought it to record one of the Star Wars movies on TV. And remember when that video store opened, we spent hours there, just trying to find a good movie to rent. There weren't that many to choose from back then. I remember renting some really bad ones after reading those back-covered taglines. Hey, remember? Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, filmed in 1978.
Small boost.
Produced, directed, written, and edited by John DeBello. It was really awful, but for some reason I still remember it pretty well. It had so many sequels, and the original was re-released in 95.
Jeez.
The 87-minute-long theatrical release bumped up to a whopping 90 minutes. But that was around the time I joined the Bureau. I never have a chance to see it.
I know, Zach. Once this case is over, we can watch it together.
I bet we can buy a copy on the internet pretty easily.
Not wrong. Yeah, movie talk is a huge part of Deadly Premonition. York is a massive movie buff. It's kind of a sweary thing. Sweary loves his cinema, his culture, or like stuff like that. It's really cool, honestly. So we're gonna go to George's house. Now, when we're at George's house, the FPS is gonna drop. I'm gonna show you something interesting. It's a nice red tree outside of George's house. Only house that has a red tree in this game. He's home! Yes! Good! Button continues without any shenanigans.
You need to be at the
thank goodness. Hi, George. Oh, you had me worried for a second there, bud. Fantastic. So if this man is here, we now get the exact item we've been trying to get for the last 50 minutes. Because we give over the flower that's supposed to cure any disease because his mother is very sick, apparently. The radio, aka fast travel. So, let's talk about losing all of our HP and dying in the run, shall we? Let's go to Tree of Anna. Almost at the bottom. Lysanders is below. And you can see Lysanders is there despite the fact that we didn't have the radio at the time, but we now obviously have it there because we have the radio. So, let's talk about our two gauges that I have not spoken about just yet. You have a tiredness gauge and you have a hunger gauge. For the sake of the run, the only one that matters is the hunger gauge. The sleepiness gauge is about to get refilled because we're about to sleep for 12 hours, then 6 hours. If you look at the minimap, we need to make it between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. We're going to make it 3 p.m. or 3:18 as it is at the moment. The quickest, rest house to get to is the Tree of Anna. There's one behind the Sheriff's Department, but it's a little out of the way to get to. So instead, we just do this one. So the issue that we have, you can see those gauges at the bottom right. When we sleep for 12 hours, we kind of get hungry. Just like real life, you know? So the issue is, if you look at the top left real quick before I can use the thing, with a hunger gauge fully depleted, I start dying. This is a little bit of an issue. So this is where some very clever routing stuff comes into play. So we're going to make it 3 p.m. Thankfully, we do have one piece of food. It's raining now. Okay, that might be good for us. So the rain is random at certain points, which is now. We're going to eat this one lollipop we have. This is going to keep us alive for a short period of time. We're now on an extremely tight deadline. Now, the downside to it raining here is my car stuff is going to be bad. My driving here is going to be terrible. But the good thing is, I'm hoping this will get the rain out of contention for the next part of the game. Because we want the next chapter for it to not be raining. If it is raining in the next chapter, we're going to lose a little bit of time in the run. Not a massive amount, but it is going to affect about 20-30 seconds. Because there's an event that we want to do that is only available when it isn't raining. There's an item in the game that lets you change the weather. Obviously, in the run, it would be way too long to get. So instead, we just have to hope on Mother Nature not to be a pain in the backside. There's one moment in the story that's very RNG that can send you to one of 3 locations, of which the worst is if it's raining. And thankfully, I've never seen it rain. But I do have the notes for it just in case. I've done 50-odd runs of Deadly Premonition. I've never seen it rain. But there's going to be the one time. the one time, and I at least have the knowledge of what to do if it does happen that one time. So we're heading to the community center. We're going to go and meet all of the major and minor players of this story and every single resident. Why are you boosting on the grass? Look at that. Look how my miles per hour just went up to 50. See that? What a game. Boost on grass, lose time. What a game. What an amazing game this is. Now I'm going to do a sick flip. I actually hope I don't, but I might do a sick flip here because I usually do. Whoa. Hey, Jim. Bye, Jim. Whoa. I'm actually kind of impressed with that driving because using my driving here is terrible. Alright, so we're holding a town meeting to tell everybody about the murder of Anna and, like, obviously, like, what's going on. You can speak to some of the members of the sheriff's department here as well. We're not because we don't need to. The important thing out of them, and this is Harry again. Harry owns the town, and so Harry, you know something. Harry knows a lot, actually. You can speak to Thomas. Thomas's conversation is important. Thomas has a tattoo. Thomas has a lover. Their lover's insignia, their initial is tattooed on their back. They have a tattoo that is literally Love G. And that's going to come back up in about 2 hours. Actually, not that long, about an hour and a half. But we're going to go and meet every resident of the village. This is the gravetender. I still can't remember his name. I think it's Fred. He's actually going to turn up later, but not that importantly. Quint's going to be a big part of the next part of the story. Richard's going to be here. He's not like a huge part of the story, but he's someone that gets involved a little bit in the next part, because Quint does. We already know Usher and Fiona, but we do have to reintroduce ourselves to them again. This is where we get the story about Usher being a big-time doctor from LA.
You know,
And I'm going to meet somebody you've already heard in name, Lysander, the General.
You soldier, if you...
He's actually important for the run. Not for the story, for the run. These two are very important. This is Nick and Olivia. They are the owners and runners of the A&G Diner. We'll be seeing them real soon. This is Wesley. Wesley owns the gun store, which, as we said, thankfully, I can buy 2 rounds of 10mm submachine gun. See how low my hunger gauge is at the minute. That's all we need for now. This is Lily and Keith. They run the local greengrocers markets. Keith is a rock dude. You already know Polly. She runs the hotel. And then you're going to meet Sigourney, the pot lady. You'll never guess why she's called the pot lady. I think there's another reason, honestly. This is Jim. You know Jim. He found the body with the kids. And this is Jack and Gina. You'll never see them again. They run the local gas station. Jack doesn't like you. He'll spit on your car for free. That sounds like I'm joking. I'm actually not. That's a real thing. That is actually a genuinely very real thing. Yeah, Sigourney has a big... Everybody in the game has like a big like side quest. Sigourney's is that she is running around town with her pot and it's getting cold and you have to find her, and it's like with this map of this game, it's terrible. All right, this is going to be a very interesting point, and this is where the routing gets very clever. You are given a choice. Go back to the hotel and skip the next event, or go with the members of the sheriff's department and actually get to know them over, like, food and sandwiches. You actually want to choose the slower option, which is to go with them. Reason for this is that, 1, this food counts towards your hunger gauge. We no longer have to worry about our hunger. And 2, this puts the diner on our fast travel. So we've just gotten the fast travel for a place that we're going to need in about 5 to 10 minutes. That's also apparently a turkey sandwich. It's more like an eggplant sandwich to me. If your turkey is that color, maybe make a different sandwich. Now, it's still raining is hopefully a good sign. Back to the hotel. The hotel's going to... Over the course of this run, the hotel in the taxi list is going to keep going down and down and down and down with the amount of fast travel we're going to unlock. And then we're going to get the first point where we're going to sum up the case. So this is a nice little bit where you all can get reacquainted with what's going on in the story. So the game's going to ask us, what did we find with Anna's body and at several of the crime scenes? Red seeds.
That's right. We found the same red seed in her mouth.
And stomach. Very important, that, actually. What did we find at the tree? Broken stiletto.
That's right.
Shoe.
Broken
heel.
Stiletto heel. Aligning this with the other evidence suggests that 2 people came into contact with Anna's body prior to it being discovered by us.
And hand looked to be holding a pendant
That's right.
with a peace symbol.
Round object. The marks on her hand suggest a
This upside down peace mark keeps coming back again and again and again. The man in the photo, who is our supposed raincoat killer,
These 2 could well be related.
has the mark on his back.
But, well, we just...
And with that, a new player rolls into town. We're going to meet him real soon. At the art gallery, or the muses gallery, is one Forrest Casey. Like how, like, that's what we used to do in the speedrun, was use that pipe on that actual switch. I think that's what gave people the idea to do it in the first place, which is kind of funny. But thankfully, we now just use the knife, so no more pipe. There is actually an infinite pipe spawn next to it, which is wild. Back to the Red Room again. The best explanation for the Red Room is go watch Twin Peaks, I'm afraid. You see certain characters are turning up. Again, that's not the actual kids. They're very much alive, don't worry. Oh yeah, you have to hit this door from the left-hand side. It's really weird. If you're too far to the left, doesn't work. Too far to the right, doesn't work. This kid looks a bit familiar. Sure couldn't be me when I'm a younger age, that's for sure. So, we actually have a little bit of speed tech coming up here. Actually, again, a clever bit of speed tech. So, I'm going to leave our room and we're going to meet Forrest Casey, and more importantly, the best character in this game, Deputy Willie. Shout out to Deputy Willie. So, we need to go out to the world map. Doesn't matter how. When we get to the world map, it's going to teleport us to the front of the hotel. So by leaving via our balcony, that counts as going out to the world map, and it teleports us to the front of the hotel. Now, I don't want to hear rain when this load is finished. Perfect. Good. All right, we get to go fast. Literally. Run to the door. This triggers the cutscene to get rid of Georgia and Emily. And because it's now daytime, and it's not raining, there is an NPC that is available that we want to go and speak to. And that just so happens to be Lysander. And this is where Deadly Premonition's run gets a lot harder. You might be thinking, what's about to happen to make this run really hard? Lysander deals in cars. And obviously, we want the fastest car that we can get our hands on. See how the handling says difficult? Allow me to demonstrate. There is no more boosting. You just go at max speed, even on grass. So now we can use the grass as stability. You also get some cool tracks.
Go to Muse's Gallery. George said to take the road along the lake and go north.
That was me tapping the left stick. Welcome to driving Quint's car. It's terrible. On the Switch version, where the handling is worse than any other version of the game, this car handles terribly. You are going to spin out multiple times. This is me tapping the stick.
Don't you think there are a lot of...
Literally tapping the stick.
It's like heaven compared to the town we grew up in.
When I get to just like corners like this, I literally hold the brake. The only upside is you can cut corners because you don't lose speed on grass.
She could be royalty with a name like that. But you know...
Also, I don't know what this conversation is. This conversation's
like
weird.
Actress from a B movie, wasn't she? Bleached blonde hair, too much makeup, clothes showed off her cleavage.
This is a movie conversation, by the way.
And mold everywhere.
Even though he's talking about a real person.
Say, Zach.
Or a real person he knew.
You know, that mole was made with makeup, right? We happened to be on the same bus once. I saw her drawing it on with makeup.
Yo, what are you talking
I
about?
wasn't surprised, I guess. Just impressed that she would go far to create that image. Do you remember that movie we went to go see that day? I'll give you a hint. It was the fourth in a popular series, and was produced by Menahem Golan's Canon Films.
Figured it out, Zach?
I need this road next.
Hold your homework until next time.
I hate the driving in this game so much. Again, if you want a good time in Deadly Premonition runs, get good at the driving. That's it. That's all you need to do. Also, half these poles don't exist. This is the Muses Gallery. This is important. we're not going to go back to this place. There is a big alternate Muses Gallery set piece later on in the game that we're going to completely skip. It's with one of the most convoluted speedrun skips that I've ever had to do, to the point that if you leave your menu via the wrong button, the skip will fail and the game will hard crash. But just not straight away. And that's the best part. You gotta wait to find out. Plus, we'll get good at the driving in this game. Considering I've been doing runs for such a long time and I'm still not good at the driving, jury's out on that one. Jury's very out. Thankfully, this is just code 641. Like, one of the paintings, I think, tells you the code, or it's like the note that was left at the start. I don't remember which one, but there's something here that tells you the code, but it never changes, which is good. Okay. Should be good for now, right? Yeah, should be good for now. Shouldn't need to have to save just yet. Okay. So, this next bit's also going to have a clever little bit of routing to it. So, we didn't have the access to this fast travel place earlier. Back in the old route of this run, we actually used to come here early to get it as like a fast travel point, but we don't anymore because it's just faster to get Quint's car and just drive. We're going to go back here because, as you can see, there is a rest house back here. The next time we go down this little alleyway, we're going to be going out of bounds. And it is absolutely fantastic. We're going to rest for 9 hours. And it's going to get us to about 7 p.m. Like 5 p.m., something like that. Close enough. Whilst the diner is still open. 7 p.m. There you go. Half our hunger is gone, so again, we've got a little bit of an issue in that half our hunger is gone. But the nice thing is, the place we're going to next is the A&G Diner. And if I'm right, and I can't remember if I am right or not, I believe this is the Sinner's Sandwich. Unfortunately, it is skippable in the run. But you should all go to, once the marathon is done, you should go to YouTube and search up Deadly Premonition Sinner's Sandwich. It is a phenomenally good cutscene. But the nice thing about it is, because of the Sinner's Sandwich, we actually get full hunger. So we get our hunger filled back up. So we're all good. And this is the point where, especially Nick, becomes a big player in the plot of the game. So, Olivia was at the art gallery, specifically because she suspects Nick of adultery. So, she wants us to stake out Nick and see what's going on. And obviously, with Olivia being at the art gallery, we think there might be something here that might be a connection to our Raincoat Killer. So, we're going to go back here and we're going to rest up for a couple of hours. Actually, I'm going to do it from the entrance so you can see him. Gotta love the can of pickles. So, we're going to rest up. Once again, you can use cigarettes to rest. I went the wrong way in my menu there, I don't know why. So again, we want to wait till 9 p.m. at the top right. We'll be, again, as I said, we'll be using this a couple of times in the run. This is going to be very important for our big skip coming up. Once it's 9, we can go and carry on the story. When we go around the corner... Hey, Forrest Cason, what are you doing here? Curious. I'm gonna make a safety save here because very rarely I have had the game actually crash here. It shouldn't do, but I have had it happen. Because I have had it happen, I'm just gonna make sure it doesn't happen. The actual crash point is coming up in the next chapter, but yeah, very rarely I have had this crash here. We're good. This cutscene loads, you're good. So we need to get to the... We need to get to the manor. The chapter title is called Second Sacrifice. You can probably tell what's about to happen. We gotta go stop, or try and stop, a Moida. This drive is very easy. Just go on this right path, and that's it. There'll be a left turn later on, and that is literally it. The downside is, it's raining, and I'm in the most difficult car to handle in the game. Genuinely, use the grass. Again, your cars that spawn in are set, and again, I want to keep the camera like relatively down so I don't lose too much frame rate. But that is me tapping the left stick. It is so hard to describe how bad the driving in this game is on the Switch version. And yet the Switch version is the most consistent version to not completely capitulate on. and to actually just play. Because the PC version, good luck getting that to run. Like, you need a lot of patience to get the PC version of this running. I'm on, unfortunately, Windows 11. I can't even get the game to load. It just refuses. Like, the PC port of this is very rough. Again, I'll have a good spot later on in the run to be able to talk all the differences, because, like, yeah, like, there's a lot of differences and it's not very nice. The best version to go for, if you can and you have the patience for it, is the PC version. It's got the best handling, it's, like, runs the smoothest, like, the least frame drops, etc. But it requires a lot of patience to set up. I mean, a lot of patience to set up. If I could get it working on Windows 11, I would be doing this run on Windows right now, but I cannot. I've tried a lot. I like this mix. We just go over the middle island. We go. Right, so this is the alternate mana. The alternate mana begins with an insta-death QTE, so yeah, good luck. Get on the bottom, X on top. On right, on left. Now, I'm gonna get lost in here, because even though I've done so many, like, D-Rush runs over the past few days, there's like 6 or 7, I keep going the wrong way in here every single time. I hate this place. I really hate this place. So, I'm gonna start profiling. There is a red dress on the bed. On the right door first. It's got that correct this time. For this first part, we want to go through open doors. We open doors after this one. There is a really annoying enemy in the second room of this that can get in the way through the open door to the left, through the open door. Avoid fire. It's a good life lesson that as well, just avoid fire. Right over. I'm not going to give this guy a second because they're usually in the way. You can get lucky and squeeze past that guy, but I've had so many problems against him recently that I'm just not going to bother. Over here, this box is slightly broken, so you want to shoot that one because it's quicker. This guy with the golf club can sometimes be in the way. Hopefully not this time. Good. It adds attack by running to his right. The box is the one that's, or the second box is the one that's busted. First clue is here. It's like next to the wall, but like the observe point is very tight, as you can see. God, yeah, Kara is referencing the time when, to get this game running on Windows 10, I had to set every cutscene file to play in Windows Media Player.
They shot you.
Unfortunately. I've had my own trials and tribulations with the PC version of this in the past. I think that was a small first aid, which is good. Sometimes that can be a stabilizer, which is weird. Stabilizers aren't used in the run, but these first aid kits obviously can be. Ideally, you don't heal at all in the run, but there are circumstances. Hey, look, red seeds. What are those doing here? It's almost like red seeds are at every single crime scene. Curious, that. And so it's also frustrating. There's 2 enemies here, one of which can very much or is usually in the way. So I'm just gonna take care of you first. Please move. No. Sometimes they dodge back. This one did not this time, so that's unfortunate. Left and right. It's right at the end. Yep. Hi, look, that's the raincoat killer. What's he doing here? Go after him. So, another hiding section. This one's not too bad. Again, this is going to be like 2 minutes. Just hide in this door. It doesn't matter. This one, there's always going to be, there's no easy one here that has like less like ZR sections. But this is the door closest. This is the door that's closest to the hiding spot that's close to the door. Well, it's hard. So this is the one we pick. This is like 2 minutes again. Also, hello Raiders. Thank you, Punchy. Appreciate it. Hope you're all doing well tonight. This is the finale of Big Bad Game-a-thon. There's been some fantastic runs this Big Bad Game-a-thon. Just before this, we had Monopoly on the NES. I didn't even realize the NES had a Monopoly game, and it's as wild as you can probably imagine. The AI does not know how to mortgage. Wonderful. Actually, yeah, the Raincoat Killer in Dead by Daylight would actually work really well. That'd be such a good choice. I hate that now. That's such a good choice. Yeah, we're getting to the halfway point of the run. This is the alternate mana. We have the front end of the game is a bit more front-loaded for set pieces. the second half has a segment that just takes a little too long. Not much happening in the middle. There's our first. This is just the usual. Wait till York's face turns up, then press start. Again, there's going to be another one coming up very quickly right here because he's supposed to be checking these spots, but because we're in these spots, he bypasses the first one, which is what causes the first hold your breath. Again, the game is clever enough, if you just got here, the game is clever enough to not have this guy looking like the one you're in, but the one that you're next to, he'll absolutely look in. So if I was under the table at the very start, for instance, he would not look under there, whereas in another hiding spot, he would look under there. But if I was in that like table at the start, I think that one actually gives you 3 hold your breath moments because it gives you the first one at the very start, or like 2 at the very start, and then 1 when he's going backwards, I think. But that said, this is the easiest one to get to the exit. It's right there. Middle box is slightly broken. Hey. Hey. Thank you. Actually, I think there's a quicker way through the left there that I keep forgetting every time. Once again, we have a nice chase section. This one isn't too bad. This one doesn't hurt your arm as much as the previous lumber mill one. This is like one of the nicer ones. Again, you have that nice picture-in-picture of seeing where they are compared to us. And thankfully, York doesn't take forever to open a door. We do have the silly box pushing stuff still, though. There he is. He's just right behind us. Some climbing sections, which literally, as long as you're pressing A, aren't a problem. That's it. Actually, that one doesn't have any boxes. We used to grab the root beer there for our hunger gauge, but again, we don't have hunger issues in this run anymore due to like the routing of like when we go to the diner and stuff like that, and also skipping a chapter, that helps. Gives us just enough hunger to not have to worry about it in the entire game. So, bloody camisole, this is our last clue for this part, which is about to indicate that there is about to be a second victim. Hopefully, with the right angle, you can just dodge past this guy and go straight through. Thank you very much. To the right and then to the right again. Perfect. Okay, so unfortunately, this is the second sacrifice. We get here, we hear the shower is on, and there's obviously a lot of blood on the door. We walk in, the victim is still alive, and then George bumbles his way in and accidentally causes the trap to go off, which kills the second victim of the raincoat killer. Thankfully, there's this random safe key on the floor, and there's this random safe on the wall, so we're just going to go over there. Alright, so this is the important bit. This is where we're going to want to save the game, but we don't want to save the game between chapters. There's an important reason for that, and it's really stupid. I don't know how this game operates at times. You know, your end screen is a lovely screen of Thomas throwing up in a toilet, as you do. Thanks, game. Except for $300. So, you don't want to save here. And the reason for that, and this is going to sound stupid because, like, nothing's going to change if you save there compared to just carrying on the game. If you save there, we don't get a fast travel point here.
They said they were...
I know that sounds stupid because if you just save the game, close the game, and reopen it, you're going to be here anyway. For some reason, it doesn't give you the fast travel spot. Now, this is the RNG bit. This is where we need to go find the twins. They can be in one of 3 places. One of them is hidden behind rain, which it should never rain in this bit. One of them is to the right of Emily, which is the fast one. We didn't get it. And then we have to the right, which is the slower version. However, with this slower version, you're going to get to see a little bit of a speedrun trick. But first, you're going to get to see me close the game. So remember what I said earlier? This game is a little temperamental. Because of the fact that this game loves to crash, there is a guaranteed crash that is going to happen at the start of the next chapter. Because of that, we need to close the game and reopen it. Literally, this happens in every single version of Deadly Premonition if you're speedrunning it. I'm not actually sure about the original Xbox 360, but PC, PS3, and Switch all need to be hard closed at this point. Great game. Love this game. Genuinely do. Sounds like I'm complaining. I'm not. The thing that I did at first was run away from Emily so that she's not following me when we get back into the game so we can fast travel. So, this is just before we do the big skip. So, because of it being in the wrong place, I can actually show you part 1 of the big skip, which is us zipping around the map a little bit. I'm gonna head to the Tree of Honor. The place where the kids are, when they are 4,000 yards to the right, is at the very top of the hill. Like the highest spot in town, which is a pain in the backside to drive up to, so we're not going to drive up to it. Now, thankfully, the game still remembers, obviously, Quint's car is our car, so we can just get in that. Downside is, the game remembers that Quint's car is our car, and this car is horrific to drive. Actually, like, going slow intentionally. What we want to do is get the front wheels over the edge of the stairs, get out of the car. If done properly, it teleports you to the very top of the hill.
According to Lily, the twins should be with Kim.
Yup. Yup. Huh? This used to be very slow because we used to drive the car up to, like, the actual top of the hill, but now we can just zip up there. Doesn't matter.
According to...
That'd be the art gallery.
That's right. The art gallery. Before entering the gallery,
almost as if she
looked
could
back
see in the dark
towards Olivia. Almost as though she saw Olivia in the dark. Nick's so...
Was it called Thomas? It was Quinn, because unfortunately for Quinn, he saw the murder of his girlfriend.
It was Quinn.
Becky.
Becky's boyfriend. He went to her house and saw the tragedy. Now, about Becky's murder.
Yep, happened while we were on the case.
Embarrassed and mortified. Killer struck again while we were on the case.
But what did we find? We found the sketchbook. The sketchbook is what led us to the twins.
That's right. We found a sketchbook in Becky's room. She had apparently written a letter.
We don't have Waffle House in the UK. I've heard a lot about it. If I ever get over to America again, I definitely want to go to a Waffle House. And an Olive Garden.
That's right, Zach. And from what
I'm sad, because the last time I went to America, I was intentionally going to try out Taco Bell, because I hear a lot of things about Taco Bell, but I never did.
Diane. The twins refused. They gave them to Diane themselves, as they had promised.
Good kids. So who's number one suspect right now? Diane.
That's right. Becky's sister and Carol's enemy.
Yup.
Linked to both Nick and Casey.
Now, fun fact.
The elegant owner of the...
In the next chapter, and it is slightly spoilers, which you should expect in, the speedrun, Diane is going to become the third victim. However, in the speedrun, we're kind of going to cause a bit of a paradox. Because that's not going to happen. So I'm going to make a hard save here. I do have safety saves for after this. This is the big one. This is the big giant chapter 12 skip. So this is really cool. I'm going to have to concentrate on this for a second because this has to be done with a lot of precision. I have to do everything perfect here. Now, fun fact about this skip can be slightly different depending on which version of, which model of Switch you're using. And we're not just talking, you know, hey, Slim, etc. or OLED. We're talking literally down to the model. So what I'm doing might not fully work for you, which is fun and fantastic. So we're going to go to the Tree of Anna. So I break this down into 4 parts to make it a little bit easier. So the first part is going to be getting to the top, which you've already seen. This is going to be the zip again. That's a potato, apparently. Looks like a coconut to me, but sure. So we're going to head up the stairs. Again, if you bounce off these stairs in this car, it's the worst. You'll get to see me actually at the top of the hill now, see?
There's something here that you want to check out?
We need to be at Carol's bar at 22.
That's the important bit. Remember when I said earlier, some time limits give you a cutscene instead? We're going to make use of that. We're going to go over to the observation deck. We are going to go into our inventory, and we're going to smoke until 22:59. Because I'm in a marathon, I'm going to go 22:58 to just make sure I don't accidentally go over, because that would be bad. We'll wait the extra little bit of time, it's fine. Use the observation deck. I'm now stinky, by the way. Look at the Muses Gallery, and hands off the controller. So, let me explain what's about to happen. We are currently at the observation deck overlooking the art gallery. When the timer hits 11 PM, it's going to make one of those cutscenes where instead of giving us a game over, it just says, hey, come back the next day. But to do that, we need to be in a specific place in town where we're supposed to be staking out Nick and then doing the big Nick escort section. However, once this cutscene is over, you're going to notice that something is very, very wrong. This is part 2. getting to the gallery. We're not here, and we've just set up active menu storage. So we're going to go a bit slow. We're going to go through every single A button press. Make sure you press A. Press it again. One more time. Do not press it here, or the game will crash. Things are going to get real funky real fast, by the way. Go to the Muses Gallery. Press the A button again. Hear that? You will not load until you press the A button again. Now, halfway through this cutscene, we're going to hold right. Don't worry about the audio going. It's fine. It's always a bit scary. Make sure not to press up or down. Press A. You'll see that I'm now halfway here. This is part 3, doing the out of bounds. This is the tricky part. Go to a corner where you can see climb up on the boxes. Start. A. Up. A. B to leave the menu, not start. You want to get in front of the peak spot, so you see peak observe. It should push you up if you've done it correctly, which we have. Wait for the world to load. Then give it 5 seconds. I'm going to use live split. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, run through the wall. Don't go too far left because you'll go out of back in bounds. Go too far to the right because you'll go to the front of the entrance. If you've done this correctly, you'll be in the office with Diane right now. Except we're not here. We're outside still. We're actually still at the observation tower. But the end trigger point for this chapter is right here.
I've just been
That
here.
is the big chapter 12 skip. However, that is yeah, Diane is supposed to technically die here, but whoops-a-daisy, she is technically alive in our game. Here's the important thing. I mentioned this just a second ago. That is part 3 of 4. You're not done. Here's the issue, and this is important. You must pay attention to this bit. You get given a choice here, whether to go with the sheriff's department for a drink or not. 1, it's slower for the speedrun anyway, but 2, because of the fact that we're not strictly here, if you go with them, your game will crash. Do not go with them.
George.
However, part 4 is fixing your position. Go to the front of the sheriff's office, climb up, peek through the window, does a weird thing, quit out. I'm at the Galaxy of Terror right now, which is the position that I am supposed to be in on the map officially. And with that, if you've done everything correctly, it won't crash in the next cutscene. That is the big chapter 12 out of bounds. Saves you 20 minutes. Skips the entire alternate art gallery, skips that entire chapter completely. Don't worry about the bright light, that's just the story stuff. It is a massive skip. It was found by one of our runners, Akion, right after the crime. It can still crash, by the way. There's still one more chance it can crash. We're not out of the woods just yet.
This suggests that very little time had passed since the crime was committed.
Word's hard. This is what we've just skipped, by the way.
Was still close by.
So there's a big hint as to the Raincoat Killer. I mean, none of you know who was close by because we skipped it. Who was also there? Where's Kaysen? We found him in the basement.
That's right. Kaysen. We followed Willie.
Good dog. Good dog. Actually, we didn't. That's like a 3-minute section that we just skipped, so I'm actually kind of happy about that. So no, we didn't follow the dog. We heard the sound of boots. Who was wearing boots that day?
The sound of boots passing by. Nick was wearing boots that day.
I mean, clearly that means he's the murderer.
Which means it was likely that Diane met with Nick in her room.
Obviously.
Nick said he argued verbally with Diane about her playing around with men, but they eventually decided to go out drinking to make up.
Zach, do
you think Nick's our killer? All of these answers are correct. The quickest one is obviously the first one. So, fun note about the out of bounds you've just seen. You can do a bigger one. You can do one from chapter 3 by pushing yourself into... Oh yeah, the cutscene gets a bit weird. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Please don't crash in the next 2 cutscenes. Don't worry about it. Nice, good. If you see the chair, you're good. Don't worry about it. Yes, he's wearing his shoes in bed, by the way. That's it. GG. We got through the biggest potential crash of the run. GG. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So here's the weird thing, and this is the thing I found out when practicing this. The quickest way to leave your menu is the start button, not B. But you have to remember, you're supposed to be on the actual observation deck. So if you press start to leave the menu, which is also you leaving the observation deck, it doesn't count as you leaving the observation deck. And that's why the game crashes. Because the game thinks you're still up there. That's why. So, fun fact about that out of bounds. You can do a much bigger one. Please ignore the fact that, you know, we're just running through doors. This is the white room instead of the red room. Once again, if you want a good explanation for this, go watch Twin Peaks. as dumb as that is, let's go watch Twin Peaks. It doesn't matter which doors you go through. It's just 8 doors, and then this man that looks suspiciously like Harry without his gas mask is in front of us. Curious. Wonder why he's here. But yeah, about the out of bounds. Fun thing about it, with the out of bounds, what can happen is you can do it as early as chapter 3 by forcing your way into George's house. There is a trigger in George's house that takes you to the penultimate chapter of the game. The downside is you can get to the final boss and the game hardlocks. We think it's because a specific NPC is not loading in, but there is technically a way to go from literally the first, like, 30 minutes of the game to the very end of the game. We just can't figure out how to make it work. Also, yes, I'm going to be stinky this run, I'm afraid. You'd think the flies would actually, like, lose the frame rate, but they don't. Which is dumb. And now we have the milk barn. Remember when we saved in the middle of that chapter so that we would get the fast travel point? That's it. Also, still not one. It's true. But yeah, the people do get to watch Twin Peaks at that point. Twin Peaks is good. Love Twin Peaks. Thankfully, here's the best part about the thing. Also, this is the easiest driving section in the game to remember. Get on this road, go straight. That's it. Easy peasy. That's it. You can also see my flies. We're taking them for a nice little ride across the town. The best part about skipping chapter 12, 1, we skip the first instance of the invisible enemies. These are a new enemy type that was on the end chapter screen that you'll see very, very soon. They are not very good. They keep causing me time loss in this run. I hate them. But also, because there's supposed to be the very long Nick tailing segment that can break on the PC version, by the way, and the Xbox version, and the PS3 version, and the Switch version. The nice thing is it skips all that, and because of that segment, it's supposed to force you into a police car, but because it doesn't, it reminds you that you still have Quint's car. So instead of being forced in the police car at this point, we still have the fastest car in the game. Or at least the fastest car that we can get our hands on. This is Harry's mansion. Harry, who you saw earlier in the wheelchair, has an aide called Michael. Now, if Michael hits this piano key, the layout of this entire mansion changes. I would once again like to reiterate the thing I said in the first hour of this game. Who is the psychopath who designed this town? Like, actually. I hope you're all ready for puzzles. Very exceedingly slow, very horror trope puzzles. This is umbrella number 5. This is umbrella number 6. This is umbrella number 3. They just reversed the actual, like, model of the room, which is kind of clever, actually. Kind of like that. And we put the umbrellas in, so 6. There's like a little cutscene you can skip if you press the start button at the right time. 3. And 5. The solution to this is like a little plaque outside next to one of the statues that we're about to run past. Like, it's one of these two on the right-hand side. But it never changes, which is good. Now we meet Harry. Harry's going to give us a little bit of a question and tell us where to go next. He's going to give us a little bit of information about the Raincoat Killer, provided that we go and do him a solid. He tells us to go to the graveyard. There is something that we're going to want to see over there. So, let's go to the graveyard. This is the point where if we could get a fast travel point for the graveyard from earlier in the game, it'd be great, but the graveyard does not have a fast travel point. Thankfully, we have a very close fast travel point nearby that we got much earlier in the game. It's just a little bit out of the ways, but not too far. It is, of course. Nice angles. No safety save because this chapter isn't too long. Again, I have a profile full of safety saves as a just in case. We should not have too many problems if there is a crash. And this bit has never crashed, so it's probably going to crash now that I've said that. This is the kind of game that you don't toy with. You don't say, hey, you haven't crashed yet, and then expect the game not to crash. Because it will. So you might remember this way. We went this way earlier to get to the Tree of Anna by going through the field on the right. Instead, we're going to be carrying on this way. Reminder, this car does not lose speed on grass, which is very nice. You can use the grass to stabilize yourself. Try not to go over this at full speed, because, yeah, I was hoping I would flip at least once in this run. There you go. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is Deadly Premonition driving. It's rough. To get a good time in Deadly Premonition, just learn how to drive. Genuinely. I mean that. Like, very sincerely. If you can drive in Deadly Premonition, you will get a good time in this run. So we've got to go to the middle of the graveyard. You can kind of tell why already. This enemy is always in the way, so I'm just going to shoot you. And ideally, I can get the right angle here, shoot them in the middle. Amazing. Dodge you. Nice, good. All right, we're good now. You can tightly walk past like the rest of the enemies in this bit, provided you can get that one in the middle. There's a bunch of red trees here. And what do the red trees produce? Red seeds. Where have we been seeing these red seeds? Also, you get, this is unskippable, you get a wonderful Yorkism coming up here.
Harry's.
Enjoy this quote.
Reward better be good. You know, about these seeds. They were right here under my nose. It's as if I was carefully carrying a bottle of water while walking in a pool. We're learning the countryside version of common sense the hard way, Zach.
What does that mean? What does that actually mean? Hello? Like, what does that mean? Thanks, Harry's. Which, frankly, Harry's is near the top list. This is why we love this game. That's also not skippable. Again, like all these cutscenes that I'm not skipping are because they are not skippable. But you do get, you know, the wonderfulness that is Deadly Premonition. So once again, we could easily get to Harry if we just walked forward and say, you know, didn't let Harry's aide Michael hit a piano key to... hello? How do I hit the save point? You know what? If I'm hitting the save point, I might as well. Just in case. By $1. The speedrun is ruined. It'd be really good if we stopped him from changing the entire mansion. Oh no. He's going right this time, which means the layout's changed again. You could have stopped this, York. You could have stopped this, York. Okay, so second one for this one. So, I like to call this part of the game slow puzzles. Who here likes Resident Evil? Do you all like pushing statues and stuff like that? Pretty fun puzzle design, right? Yeah. Yeah. So, this is lining up with some of the plates on the top line and the left-hand line to make numbers. So, it doesn't matter which of these statues go into which slot, but we have to make certain numbers. Oh yeah, it's you first. I'm very certain we want to do the one at the far left-hand side first. No Agent Honor. We actually would lose Agent Honor. If we hurt civilians, we actually do lose money, which is... I mean, it's understandable, but kind of pain for the speedrun. Yeah, I think you understand why I call this slow puzzles now. And this is not me letting go of the A button every time. If I was to let go of the A button, it'd stop in the middle here. It literally just stops you every single double push. As I said, I love this game to bits. There is a reason why I submitted a Big Bad Game-a-thon, and it's stuff like this. Like, as much as I love this game, I'm not going to sit here and try and tell you this is a well-made game. Do I love it? Absolutely. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Do I think it's a well-made game? No. Not at all. You see, that's what happens if you let go of the button. Yep, that's the perfect summation of it. Is like, it is a really good game, and it is also a terrible game. It's perfect. It really is. We moved those 3 statues that takes literally like 2 minutes. I'd like to point out as well, again, that Harry is in a wheelchair, which means that Michael is the one that has to do this every single time. Harry, who made your house? I want answers. You own this entire town. Did you do this? Did you just decide that the morgue needed a chess puzzle to be able to access it? Like, did you decide that we needed, like, squirrel keys in the police department? Like, hello? Was this you? Are you just trolling the entire town? Oh boy. It's time for police fishing. Oh boy. I love this part of the game. So somebody asked earlier, if you missed the whistle theme. No, you didn't. It's coming. It is soon happening. So we have been told by Harry, and this is the interesting thing. We aren't dealing with the same raincoat killer that was back around when Harry was young. This is a new raincoat killer. He has told us to go to the sheriff's department and find the files on the original to find out more. Woo. This is the first of the alternate sheriff's departments that we will be doing in the run. First of 3, actually. If this is the first one, this is the left-hand side, don't forget. Also, everybody's still here and it's just going to become the alternate version. Yep, okay. Sure. So yeah, again, we just want to be careful of any enemies with shotguns. Shotgun enemies will take off like 1/3 of your HP. Like, they will mess you up. Thankfully, we run past that one. It doesn't matter. Now, this is going to be as well. Like, again, if you've been thinking that the game has been a bit quiet for this run, it's currently set at -20 decibels for you. You're going to start understanding why from this set piece onwards. This one's not too bad, but later on it is. So these are the police records for certain years. You can see that 1956 has been destroyed. The safe for 1956 has been completely busted wide open, and the files that are supposed to be inside about the Raincoat Killer are missing. But this background track in this location gets real crunchy. Left-hand side, right-hand side. What do we find in the sheriff's department? Oh, hey. Red seeds. Funny how they keep turning up. Wonder why that is. So I don't think I mentioned yet, the enemies make some wonderful noises in this game. Like ice wall, like why, like... They all sound very unhappy. They all sound very, very unhappy. And our final clue over here is dried droplets of blood, which we somehow infer that the files have been taken to the local waterfall. As a wise Yoko Taro once said, can you really call yourself an RPG if you don't have fishing? This game has fishing. And it's mandatory. It's a little better than Deadly Premonition 2's mandatory get a strike in bowling on the first 20 minutes. And bowling songs. Not too bad. You get used to it, but like, it scares me every time I do that run. Evaporate away. Can we stop using science? Science does not exist in the world of Deadly Premonition. It is RNG, yes. It is very RNG, unfortunately. So to the person who wanted the whistle theme, here is Life is Beautiful. Fun fact, sometimes the game won't give you a bite straight away. You're losing time immediately. What a game. You're gonna give it to me, aren't you? We're in the middle of a marathon. There we go. See the file on the bottom? You have to wait until it is just before the final box to be able to get it. If you do that, like a couple of frames too slow, you'll get either of the Emily faces. Too slow, too fast, you will miss it completely. So it's RNG whether or not you even get the chance to hook in the actual case. And those are indeed our missing case files. Again, because Marathon, I'm making safety saves everywhere I go. Over to Harry's. That's the Welcome to Greenvale theme. You will hear that a lot coming up. There's a nice long segment with that. All cutscene percent would actually be really cool. I'm surprised I haven't actually done that yet. Should probably do that at some point. Anyway. Speaking of alternate versions, here comes the alternate Harry's Mansion. I somehow ran around the actual trigger for it. How? That's impressive, to be honest. Thankfully, there's no Michael to hit the piano this time. So we have the actual layout of Harry's Mansion, including this picture right here, featuring some very, very curious-looking characters. They almost look similar to most of the women in this game. Except for Sigourney the Potman.
Amazing, amazing.
She's not in the picture.
Bullseye, amazing.
Too busy for the picture. She was off, you know, trying to get her pot somewhere. I don't know. Alright, that was good shooting on those three. First door on the left for the second visit. So we have a couple of waves of enemies in this next part. So we're going to go into the middle. We're going to get hit like almost immediately by one of the enemies. So what I'm going to do is shoot this barrel. Go to the side. So I'm going to get hit by you.
Amazing.
You. You. Nice. Good shooting. That's good. Alright, good fight. Good fight. Very good fight. I'm going to go this way because I've got myself turned around. Very good fight, actually. Left first time, right second time. There's a dog. I don't know. There's no actual dog in here, but yeah, there's a dog. For some reason, on the original 360 version of this is really loud. Like, that is ear-piercingly loud on the 360 version. No idea why. If I can get the right angle here, because these two... Yep, good. The one in front usually will dodge you if you don't go and, like, hug the left, and then the one on the left will sometimes just not go backwards. It's like a good spot to just lose a bunch of time. Do not go left. If you go left, you loop back on yourself and go back to the very beginning. Great layout, by the way. So, more waves of enemies. For the first wave, we're going to take care of you. You. Move around so I don't get hit by you. Shoot this barrel. Okay.
Bullseye.
I don't want to miss too much here.
Amazing. Yes.
There's a shotgun enemy to my right that's probably going to hit me now. That's not great. Yep, look at that damage. That's actually almost half. Look at that. As I said, you really don't want to get hit by these guys. Oh, you're just hiding around the back. That sucks.
Amazing. Great.
Also, you might be wondering, there are other weapons in the game. We're going to actually be getting a new one coming up soon. There is a shotgun. You can either purchase the shotgun, or there is an enemy that actually drops the shotgun. That enemy is in the set piece in chapter 12 that we skipped. So we used to grab the shotgun a very, very long time ago in this route, but we don't anymore. World's hardest puzzle right here. There's a switch right here, and then I think if this time runs out, it's a game over. I actually think, if I remember rightly, that's a game over if you fail that. Don't ask. I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's weird. It's very weird. So we're gonna finally get to speak to Harry, and we're gonna actually finally start getting some answers. So again, Harry's gonna tell us that this is a new version of the Raincoat Killer. The reason why he has his gas mask on is because of the fact that the military pumped gas into the town back in the 50s, which is what caused everyone to, you know, go berserk, which is the enemies that you're seeing. And he also tells us about the 13th bell. When the 13th bell rung, everybody went wild. That's gonna come important very, very much later on. But this is his confirmation that yes, this is not the same Raincoat Killer that he knew. Now we have a big long drive. Again, it's a nice easy drive because it is just a pure straight line, but this drive is what loses us Quint's car until the end of the game. We get given this police cruiser, which you've obviously never seen this one before. The nice thing is, if you look at the speedometer, it's pretty fast. It's also pretty fast on grass as well. Downside, its handling is kind of bad. By kind of bad, I mean it is bad. So, yeah, we're just going to be driving across. Actually, it does lose speed on grass. I was wrong. Oh, no. So this driving sequence is nice and simple. I want my light off for frame rate related shenanigans. This drive is nice and simple. Go straight. That's it. Never take any of the... Thank you. Never take any of the off paths or anything like that. A bit slow there because that car's supposed to be a bit further back than that. Yeah, just go straight for this one. Like, it's surprisingly simple. During this long drive, we're actually going to be getting a bonus. That bonus is going to be called Extra for Long Distance. So because we go a long distance over the map, we're going to be getting free money. Now, this is not massively important for Deadly Premonition 1, but long distance is vital for Deadly Premonition 2. It's also unavoidable because you literally have to go again across the entire map at one point during Chapter 2. In Deadly Premonition 1, it's going to get us like a small chunk of money, like $50 or so. In Deadly Premonition 2, it gets you like $200 to $300, which helps you clear that debt I was talking about with DP2. DP2 is a wild game. It's not quite as cult classic as this, but it has its own merits. And the speedrun routing is wild. There are squirrels that will steal your items. And you need to murder them for their tails. I wish I was joking, but I'm not. So I don't think I mentioned it in too much detail earlier. If you look at the bottom right at the usual fuel gauge and durability gauge, you'll notice that there are 3 lines because it is unlimited for these sections. And I do want to make sure I don't hit the car ahead, but I do not want to be fully in the middle. Because this bit right here, let's slow my roll a little bit here. There's a tree in the middle. So you do that, and you be careful. There we go. That everything's good. So the other thing that we found out at the end of the last chapter is that Thomas has gone missing, and that there is a suspicion that Thomas is either the actual Raincoat Killer or helping the Raincoat Killer. And this is why we're going across town, because we're going to Thomas's apartment. As said earlier, like, oh no. Hi, George. As I said earlier, I absolutely adore Thomas. Thomas is one of my favorite characters in this game. We're going to learn a lot about Thomas coming up. I love Thomas. Genuinely one of my favorite characters. Really in-depth character in this game. But first, go to Thomas's house. So we play that music. We should move closer. I agree. I very much agree. We start our profiling. So, I'm going to find a couple of clues. The first thing is going to be a wig. A red wig. So this confirms our suspicions. So, despite that, Thomas actually does have the wig with them, which is a bit weird because the wig is right here. Thomas must have like multiple of them. But this basically confirms our suspicions that Thomas is currently hiding in town somewhere. This song, by the way, this is important. This song is by his sister, where boot prints indicate that Thomas was here recently. And the other piece of evidence that Thomas is currently in disguise and hiding is in the bathtub. Thomas's shoes. These are the ones that made the boot prints. So essentially, We know that Thomas has changed their outfit, has a wig, and is hiding out somewhere. And as you can probably guess from the song in the background, it's highly likely that he is with his sister over at the Galaxy of Terror. But we don't know that yet. We're going to find that out in a very Deadly Premonition-esque fashion. You're probably wondering how we figure that out. You're about to find out. It's very, very Deadly Premonition-esque. And we're also going to do a bit of speed tech. 5 FPS, George. Off he goes.
Do you think they heard what I said? We don't have to make a fuss. Thomas isn't going to leave town.
Yep.
That gives us plenty of time to find a way to view the bonus footage.
It's always movies! There's always movies! And we're in the alternate Greenvale. Now, as you can see, a lot of the roads are blocked off. You are being very much forced to go one path. Because the game forces in the cruiser before, we don't have access to Quint's car, so this is the fastest car we can get. We don't have access to other police cruiser either, which is a shame. How can you get in the middle of the road, please? Thank you. There's no traffic here. You actually want to be on the right-hand side, because, again, you're going to go past the tree that we skipped by earlier. And then once we drive down the road a little bit, if you manage to hit these enemies that are spawning in, you do get $30 extra. It's kind of nice for the money coming up. Not talk, because again, this isn't going to be a long drive. Once we get a little bit into town, something weird happens, and I mean weird in Deadly Premonition terms. We see a spooky ghost. The ghost of Anagram. This is Welcome to Greenvale. This is like the main theme. It's pretty good. We are going to follow the ghost of Anagram, except I'm clearly not. So, what you might notice, every time that I run away from Anna, I'm being penalized, except for the fact that we're being teleported forwards. Yes. These are birds, by the way. They will murder you. Those lines ahead, like in the distance, they will absolutely outright take all your HP off. Watch out for murder birds. And the nice thing is this cutscene is getting my attention back every single time, which is good. So we're going to make 2 laps of this place here. Every time that Anna goes that way, we want to go like opposite to where she's going so that we can get like further away from her for the trigger to get teleported back. I love this theme. This theme's so good. The soundtrack in this game is just beautiful. It's really, really good. You also get to see how many general stores there are in this town in this next bit. Definitely don't need this many. There's Alfred's General Store over there. There is another Alfred's General Store very close by. There are the murder birds again. See how they're getting closer? What a soundtrack to set in this bit too, huh? Last one. And with this, welcome to the alternate Galaxy of Terror. Time to spend some money. And this is where the money gets tight. So hopefully we haven't messed anything up on the run. We shouldn't have done. We're going to be like within about $150. So we have access to Panda Bear through this toolbox. So we're going to purchase a couple of things. First of all, we're going to purchase what everybody needs. Magnum! Well, horror game after all. We're going to get ourselves, where are we? 2 10mm. And 3 rounds of Magnum. Do I have enough for 3? I don't. Oh, boy. Okay, so I've definitely lost a bunch of money somewhere. That's fine, because there is a second point I can get spare ammo later. That's not going to be a problem for now. I've got more than enough ammo for what I need for now. I'm just going to have to take like an extra like 15 seconds out of my path to buy some more ammo. I know exactly where I'm going to get it, and it's in like the penultimate set piece. Which is actually good for a marathon run, because then that means I won't run out of ammo for the final boss. if your shooting is bad in the end game here, there is a high chance you can run out of ammo for the final boss. So I was like kind of planning on maybe actually like replenishing my ammo anyway, but now I absolutely am. It was $531 per bullet. It's technically 6 bullets, and thankfully with the Magnum you get ×2. We have another chase section. This one is as goofy as the rest of them. You would think that man would be chasing me right now, but he's not. You would also think that I would, you know, just get my gun out and shoot this box, but, you know, I'm not. You can squeeze through that gap. I can guarantee you right now, you can squeeze through that gap. Any of us can squeeze through that gap. I have lymphedema. I can squeeze through that gap. Like... Also, again, he cheats. You'll see him just in his, like, picture-in-picture just appear next to us at one point. However, the Raincoat Killer, or the new Raincoat Killer, we should say at this point, very nice and pleasant. You know, if we're, you know, a little bit behind. Whoa, what the heck? If we are a little bit behind, they're gonna catch up here. They're definitely gonna grab us and, you know, like, get us into a QTE. Or, you know, you'd also think you can get off the box and run. You can't. You have to push it all the way. But yeah, he just slow walks towards us for whatever reason. Couldn't tell you why. Anyway, next hiding spot. Right in the corner. I don't know what's going on with York's jacket right now. I could not tell you. I have had this happen before, but it's usually fixed by this point. I'm now a little afraid it's going to break the game, but we're going to find out. As again, this is the best spot. The best spot. Apologize. The best spot that I should be sitting in for obviously the cutscenes coming up. I think this removes one of the hold your breaths and is also relatively close to where we need to leave. Would be quite funny. It is quite funny that Stinky Agent does nothing in this game outside of a small money loss, and in Deadly Premonition 2 can cost you your entire run. I will explain that in a minute, because, or in like 10 minutes, because I have a very, very big long period for explanations. DP2's run is wild for just completely different reasons. I think we do get a third one, right? But hold your breath, I think. Yep. I know. I remember. That should be the last one. It'll only be mechanic stuff for DP2. It won't be story stuff. And the mechanics of DP2 are actually surprisingly restrictive. You'll leave my entourage of flies alone. Alright, so we leave this way. Go left. And we have the Zach, the keeper of the door, the one enemy blocking this door. There they are. Goodbye. Good door guard. He is on the bottom, X is on the top. Remember why I keep saying that? Yup. Hey, bud. Thanks for waiting for me, I guess. He just does this every time. Bye. just bye. Also, it might not look it. This place is on fire, by the way. You'll see soon. So, we're gonna head in here. Don't worry about the door. Someone's just busy in there. Don't worry about it. We're gonna look into their stall and find Thomas's sheriff badge. And also 2 enemies that kind of bust out, but that's, you know, dealt with. Bullseye. Good shooting, actually. That should push that enemy out of the way, hopefully. So, yeah, Thomas's sheriff badge is obviously one of the clues. That means that Thomas is here at the Galaxy of Terror. Hit the enemy in the background. Sounds like me when I have to wake up in the morning, my alarm on at 6:30. Oh. let me sleep. Yeah, thankfully that pushes them out of the way so we don't have to worry too much about, like, them being in the way. And here we go. Say hello to the worst enemy in the game. Invisible enemies. These go down to 2 melee hits. Oh, I'm so close. That's bad. I need to be close enough to get them to attack early, but not close enough that I can't shoot them. They take hundreds of submachine gun shots. Thankfully, they take 3 Magnum rounds, and the Magnum can hold 6 rounds, so yeah. The original 360 version, they sound like a dinosaur when they do that attack. Is this the one I have to be behind, or is it the front? I think this is the front, and the second one is behind. Yeah, this is the front, and the second one is behind. Hello. These enemies suck, because it's very easy to miss them. And if you get grabbed by them, you lose like 20 seconds. Bye. But this attack, they literally roll like a dinosaur in the original. I don't know why they took that out. It was honestly endearing. Reload quickly. This next one is a pain in the backside because this one starts facing this way. So we don't have that much room to maneuver with this one. I missed. Yeah, I don't have much room to maneuver with this one, so yeah, that's a bit of a time loss. Also, the health loss is the thing that worries me a bit more here. So that's what happens if you get grabbed, by the way. Tell me not to show that off. But this also messes up my ammo count because now I'm on an odd number of bullets. I have to move back for this. The closer you are, the less time you have to react. No. Early. Submachine gun. Got 2 normal enemies here.
Nice, great.
But like, yeah, if you use the submachine gun, it takes so long to take care of these enemies. Like, a ridiculous amount of time. But the Magnum is at least nice and useful. And we're going to be using the Magnum for the final boss as well, so multiple uses. I'm not close enough, that should be. I'm not moving, I'm not risking this. I am not risking this whatsoever. And again, if we miss shots on these enemies, that means we're also down on ammo for later on in the run. And obviously me having missed one of my bullet purchases is a little concerning. We should be fine. I'd be very surprised if we're not fine. Oh, yep, this puzzle. 1 on the right, 2 on the left. Perfect. Looks like we're about to get jumped again, but we're not. Now we'll get to the bit that's actually on fire. I did want to use all my ammo there, so that's good. Some of these boxes do contain items. Some of them actually do contain a little bit of ammo. There's one box I'm going to actually, like, wait to see what the item drop is, because sometimes it can be Magnum rounds, and that would help out a lot right now. It isn't this box, because this box is the pickles. Pickles, there you go. So if we had hunger problems in this run still, we just pick up the pickles, but we don't need to. This guy's a pain because he does have a shotgun, so again, I need to get through here relatively quickly. It's this box. Submac? Wait, no, that's rifle. That's worse. We do not use the rifle in this run. And everybody loves the running QT sections, right? Yeah? No? Well, too bad. B is on bottom, X is on top. There are multiple QTs that are insta-death here. Multiple. Every single one of these. There's like 6 of these. Again, it's random, every single one, so we just have to pay very close attention. I do like it when it gives me B a lot. It's nice. One more coming up here. Again, yeah, I'll take all the Bs. And through the door. At which point, the Raincoat Killer is just going to slide along the wall a little bit. They tend to be walking through a door, which is that door over there. Again, this looks like one of those where you can just let the box go and then just leave. No, you can't. You have to push it all the way. I'm fairly certain there's one box you can let go early, but I don't remember which one it is. It's not that one. I'm very glad that he's just not in a rush at the moment. Helps me out. You might be wondering if he's broken. He's not. You'll see he's now very close to us. He just, like, cheats and goes through. And that's that. Good. We're gonna find our last clue. Oh, no, we're not. We have to go through the fire first, right? Through the fire and the flames, haha. You can get shot in this bit, which worries me greatly with this HP value. It didn't do that much damage, but it put me low enough that I am now staggering. This is why I picked up the extra healing earlier. The way I remember this room is to just go back on yourself, so just, you know, rotate it back around, and you'll be fine. We just gotta get to this door in the corner. It's very funny, when enemies walk through fire, they set themselves on fire and they die really quickly, but they get really fast instead. And our last clue is a wooden ice pick. You might be wondering what this has to do with, well, this has to do with the plot. Well, actually, not much. It's going to let us into a secret room.
Huh?
Love this cutscene. This, again, why does this exist? A door! Exists to tell you where to go. By the way, wiggle the stick. As long as you're wiggling the stick, he won't catch you. Easy peasy. That one's a very surprising one, because that one just comes at you, like, straight from the off. And you're not expecting it. That's that. Alright, so the ice pick is actually used to get into a secret door right ahead of us here. Get the option stick into. We stuck the wooden ice pick in there. And once we hit the bottom of the stairs, unfortunately, York is going to get knocked out from behind by Thomas, who was indeed here the entire time. Which means that, unfortunately, Thomas is going to kidnap York. Which then leaves us wondering what happens next. Fun fact for those who have never played Deadly Premonition. Do you know this game has multiple characters? Because we're about to play as the game's second playable character. Well, after we play as Chardos in one of the worst sections of the game. We gotta catch up to Dad. Come on, boy. It'll be too late.
Come on, boy, or it'll be too late.
And please get used to that voice line. Please. Dad doesn't have a face, by the way. If you're wondering why the back of his head looks untextured, he just doesn't have a face. Don't worry about it. You'll get to see him soon. Maybe. Well, you won't, because he doesn't have a face, but you'll get to see him faceless in a bit. So this bit right here is just a dream sequence. We just have to get to the very end. Fun fact, I'm only holding forward because if you actually try and go faster, Dad has a giant invisible barrier around him that you can't bypass. Thanks, Dad. Appreciate you.
Dad?
This is where the game slows down a bit.
Come on,
This is very much where the game slows down just a little bit. If you're trying to go for 100% of this game, though, you've got to be very, very careful. Because there is an item in this part that, you know, it's going to be very obvious where it is, but you can miss it, and if you do miss it, you've got to replay the game to get back here again. Yup. Now, at some point, coming up very soon.
Dad!
Come on, boy, or it'll be too late.
I get it, Dad. I get it. So at some point, when we get, like, part of the way through, you see the item is dead ahead of us. Dad's gonna do the thing that Dad did in real life and just, you know... Wait for it. He's gonna yell at me again in a second. Disappear! Fun fact, his invisible force field is still in front of us.
Dad? Dad?
Come on, boy, or it'll be too late.
So if you want 100% of the game, there is a trading card right in this section of our old man. If you miss this, you have to replay the game to get back to this bit again. Now I actually have to turn left and right. Now I actually have to make inputs in this section. When I said this is the bit that slows the game down, I wasn't kidding, because you've seen nothing yet. You've genuinely seen nothing yet. So yeah, we get to see that York is in a predicament somewhere. We don't know where. We will find out soon enough. And here is the game's second playable character. It is, of course, some really good music as well, by the way. Long loads. These make my jokes fall flat. Not Deputy Willie, unfortunately. It's Emily. So yes, Emily is the game's second playable character, and Emily is gonna get the nice, unique experience of having the game's first boss fight. Yeah. This is the Nick tailing segment marker. Don't worry, it doesn't exist. I'd always wondered whether walking back in that would actually, like, crash the game, because that's not supposed to exist anymore. But because we skipped the Nick segment, it just is on the map constantly now. Get some cool jams, by the way. Any jam emotes now is very much the time. Now, here's the good news. This bit lasts 12 minutes. That's not a threat. There is thankfully little bits in between that are going to break up the monotony of these 12 minutes. Now, here's the thing. It looks like we got to follow Deputy Willie, which we do. Here's the thing. Kaysen is the trigger point. So if we get too far from Kaysen, it's going to pull us back. As in backwards. Not like the Anna teleport stuff, but actually backwards. So hope you enjoy this music for the next 12 minutes. Now, this is the bit where I get to talk about, like, all things, like, Deadly Premonition. Let's start with the DP2 speed tech stuff. So, DP2 has an issue. To progress a part of the game, you need the game to be Monday. Also, this is Linvisible Street, not Invisible. It's a Linvisible Street. Thank you. The game starts on Tuesday. So you have to literally force the clock forward by 6 days. Now, here's the thing about Deadly Premonition 2 compared to DP1. You actually have to pay for your hotel room, which means that you can amass debt. And if you amass too much debt, you can't carry on. You literally cannot get out of Chapter 1. So, what you can do, right? And this is the best part. Let's talk about Stinky Agent in Deadly Premonition 2. In DP2, Stinky Agent doesn't just cost you about $200. NPCs won't speak to you. Also, I'm just gonna rest my arms here. Oh, yeah, nice. Nice. Kaysen pushes you along for this bit. It's great. We'll get to the DP2 stuff in a second again, because there's a cutscene coming up. I genuinely like these cutscenes. Like, I know obviously it like grinds the run to a halt, but this cutscene in particular I like a lot. We're gonna get to see that Thomas was indeed here this entire time. Hi, Thomas. And this is one of the cutscenes I adore about Thomas and their character development. But there is so many hints in this cutscene.
Untie me. Let me go. Right now. And you and Carol should take off.
York is being very sincere.
As far away as you can. Open a bar or a diner in a new town. With your cooking, I know you do well.
Now, something to know is that Thomas is very openly gay in this game.
Thank you, York. You're so kind. Unlike him. If I had someone like you, things may not have.
Remember, the tattoo.
York.
Love G.
Have you ever been in love with someone?
Thomas.
That's a loaded question, Thomas.
I witnessed two people that I really cared about die.
That'd be our parents.
Both pretty much at the same time. And since then, I've tried not to care about anyone so deeply, but recently that way of thinking has changed.
Thomas is such a actual deep character in this game.
She's a nice girl.
The game's about to ram it down our face that York is falling in love with Emily.
You'd be better off not falling in love with her.
Too late, Thomas. Very much too late.
Considering the circumstances, whatever I say might not be important to you, but I'll say it anyways. Don't you dare touch Emily.
York, I think I've said too much. It's natural to respond when someone talks to you, I guess. Everything will end tonight. You just stay there until then.
The real tragic, part with Thomas and what you can infer from these conversations is that Thomas is essentially being abused in his relationship by whoever the person he loves is, which we know them as, the tattoo love G at this point. Thomas's relationship problems are huge. I really like how in-depth Thomas is as a character. You can infer a lot from these, conversations about, what's going on in Thomas and his relationship, and the fact that, he is obviously helping the new Raincoat Killer. But there's somebody that doesn't appreciate or care about them, and they just abuse them. Thomas's backstory is, genuinely quite well done. It's one of my favorite things about this game, but it is quite deep. It is quite nasty. Speaking of deep and nasty, the game's gonna crash. So here's the thing, we're gonna take a save right here and stop the game from crashing again. This should be the very final time. So essentially there is a cutscene at the start of the next chapter that is guaranteed to crash if we don't refresh the game right now. We can go all the way to the end of this bit and do it there, but it also works here. I like doing it here on the actual path. DP is very upfront with Thomas and his relationship. I like it a lot. Anyway, we now load back up into the little escort section, and we carry on. So, to carry on what I was saying about DP2, you have to make it so that you literally skip 6 days. And as you can probably guess, you get a little stinky. You become Stinky Agent, which again, in DP2, you can just have NPCs just not want to talk to you, which means you can't carry on the story. So here's the wild thing about DP2 routing, right? You would think to yourself, all right, just go shower. You can just shower. Obviously, in DP1, for example, you can't do that in DP2. The available shower locations are pretty slim. Your hotel room has a shower though, so you're probably thinking just go use your hotel shower. You can't. Your shower is blocked by a big side quest, which means that if you become Stinky Agent, you are Stinky Agent, which means that you lose about $200 each time or something ridiculous, as well as having certain NPCs not talk to you. This is a big issue when in Chapter 2 you've got to speak to a bunch of NPCs.
There's another great girl.
York, no, York.
To fall in love with her would mean you need to love her cooking too. Why does God test us so? I wonder.
York, please.
She made it. Man, did that pack a punch. I wish you could have tasted
York,
that.
please. Know what you could do, York? You could also do the cooking and also the coffee. Fun facts. Damn it, York. If you haven't guessed, these bits are going to ram into your head that he is falling in love with Emily. We're gonna be here for 5 minutes. We're gonna be here a while. And again, you're gonna get to see all the general stores, the general marts, and everything that's around here. But yeah, no, the way that you have to do it is you have to become intentionally Stinky Agent. General mart. You have to become intentionally Stinky Agent and then end the chapter because it makes you non-stinky for free. Also, fun fact, Rainy Woods Real Estate. This is a nice little reference. Rainy Woods was the code name for the game when it was in development. So yeah, that little real estate over there, Rainy Woods, is a little hint to, obviously what the development name of this game was. Nice, cool little thing, that. I've been able to pick out, little, things like that. Yeah, essentially, we're following Deputy Willie's sense of smell to go find York. We missed the turning like 4 times. You've got good old Bar, same old. And another Alfred's General Store. How the skateboard physics work in DP2? Not well. Not well. The PC version of the game works the best because you actually have like a stable 60 FPS. There are points where when skateboarding in DP2, you can go through the ground. There's one point in particular, it keeps happening to me during runs in like chapter 3, and it's frustrating because it keeps happening every single time and I can't get it to stop. Ah! Emily jump scare.
I don't think I've ever felt that way looking at a woman before. No, I'm wrong.
If you haven't already realized, we're going to make you realize York's fallen in love with Emily.
I was very surprised when she came to my hotel.
So was I. The wall was missing for that cutscene.
It was really exciting, though. I heard my heart thump like something to know. It's inappropriate during an investigation, right, Zach?
Again, that's not me having changed the audio to make the background music louder than York. That's just the game. That's how the game works. Yeah, DP2's run is shorter than DP1's. For a couple of reasons. I like DP2. It's not as good as this. I enjoy it, but it's just not as good as this. Like this game has like, apart from this bit, this game has some real good pacing to it. Like again, in the first 45 minutes of this run, and you know, speedrun should never be used as like as a good measure of how long a game is. In the first 45 minutes of this run, you have the alternate forest, you have the alternate hospital, you have the alternate lumber mill. Like you have at least 3 big set pieces, like very, very early on. Like the pacing of this game is actually pretty decent, other than like just this bit. Perhaps it's working overtime. Yeah, it's gonna get worse. This set piece will be fine. We're finally going the correct direction, by the way. We're going to the clock tower, which is about to become a very focal point for the story. Fun fact for those who don't know. Swery decided that this bit should happen again in Deadly Premonition 2, but it's worse. A very big long escort section. You don't get cool music in Deadly Premonition 2. Thank you, Deputy Willie. Appreciate you. Once again.
For some reason in the darkness, I see Emily.
For some reason. Couldn't guess why. I've got no idea why.
Dignified. And that glimmer in her eyes when she argues every word I say. Her blonde hair lit by the dawn. Eating steak in the diner. Giving me directions in the car. Her face in the gallery. And that coffee she made. And it's like she's a goddess in a tight dress. Zach, let's pray that she doesn't become a real goddess.
So, we all on the same page that York's fallen in love with Emily at this point, yeah? Yeah, like... Missed the jam? There's a little bit more of it. A little bit more of the jam. This is the last of the jam, though. So yeah, this is the easiest bit to get too far from Kaysen. Again, you would think you have to get close to Deputy Willie, but if you stay next to Deputy Willie, he actually gets too far from Kaysen. His lovely little waddle. Yeah, it's a Dalmatian on his back pouch. Remember that. It's important. Okay, so what's that in your hand, by the way? It sure does look like a red seedling that you're carrying there, bud. It's as if the game couldn't hint any harder. So So yeah, we made it to the clock tower. After this cutscene, you can actually go forward. Like, you don't have to wait for either Kason or Deputy Willie. And this is where we get to talk the cool stuff, because not only is obviously Emily our second playable character, Emily's slightly better than York. Emily's gun, as you can see, has 19 bullets instead of 16, and actually has a little extra damage. Emily's gun is better than York's. This is just a sheriff custom rather than an FBI handgun. Just Emily. Good job, Deputy Willie. Always remember your service. With that, one more York and Thomas cutscene. Another tragic one. And then we actually finally get to play the game again. This bit lets you, like, get the feel of just how far Thomas has gone.
Time to save.
And it's, again, such a shame. I adore Thomas
Let me tell you
so
one
much.
more time. It's not too late. I can help you. Just untie me and let me go. If you don't, the situation will be irreversible, unfixable.
York, no situation is reversible.
Well, Thomas.
Didn't you know that? Everyone, everything proceeds along a path preordained by fate.
I don't think I was preordained to do this run for Big Bad Game-a-thon tonight, but fair enough.
Goodbye, then. I wonder who'll be the next person to open this door. Well, whoever that person is will be the one to decide your fate.
One last look at the tattoo. It's a good point, chat. And the most pertinent question, who is going to be the one to open the door? Who will be the one to see York? Will it be Thomas? Or will it be Emily? So this is the alternate clock tower. We just got to go up. Some of these enemies you can actually dodge past. Some of them are a little tricky to dodge past. And we'll just take care of them. First enemy I will absolutely shoot, because you're a pain in the backside. Okay, I could actually have snuck past you on the right here. That was really bad. The fun fact, unfortunately, Emily... Nice magnum bullets. I could have picked those up for York, actually. Oh, I should have done that. Emily doesn't do the same quips that York does when he's killing enemies. Sometimes you get past this guy. Nah, he dodged forward. Sometimes I'll dodge to the right. Remember, the hitbox lingers until you, like, take one last shot. Good. Got the dodgeable one. He's pretty easy to dodge if you go to his right. And the next one is a pain in the backside as well. Sometimes dodgeable, sometimes not. So I'm just not going to give him a chance. Dodgeable. 13 shots, that's fine. Stick to the right to avoid the enemies here. Then for some reason, Emily, like, speeds up the stairs. I don't know why. She just gets really fast for some reason. All right. So, it's time for the first boss of the game. This is actually a relatively hard boss to do fast. It is, of course, Thomas. So we need to basically take down Thomas before Thomas jumps onto one of the hooks. If Thomas jumps onto one of the hooks, we're in big trouble. Lane's off. Where is he? I also need that hook to not hit me in the phase transition, because as one of our runners and a friend of mine, Toji Mario, found out the other day, it can mess with your screen completely and you can't see anything. This is a bad fight. This is such a bad fight. I need to get this shot before Thomas jumps into a hook or I'm in trouble. Thomas actually waited for me, which is wild, because Thomas usually just jumps on the hook way before that. Bad fight, but I wasn't penalized for it.
I hope nothing terrible is happening.
So, who is it going to be? Chat, who's going to open the door? It is, of course, a spooky ghost. It's, of course, Deputy Willie. There he is. Good boy. What a good boy.
Hey, Willie. Are you here with your owner?
Attaboy. That's our Deputy Willie. That's why he earned that title. Alright. And with that, we now go into the end game. Yeah, that was a rough fight, unfortunately. Oh well. There's that tattoo again. Love G. The game is giving you all the hints. Just in case. I shouldn't need to do these safety saves because we have done the restart, but just in case. All right, so This is going to be the second of the alternate sheriff's department. This cutscene that's about to load here, if we didn't close the game down, that cutscene crashes the game. So that's why we had to make sure that we reloaded the game. So this is the second one, so this is the normal sheriff's department. Even though it's the alternate version, the layout is very, very similar to the normal sheriff's department, which isn't too bad. Lets me know exactly where I need to go. And this is also the bit where I can go and get some ammo if I need. I can probably wait until the last one, because I know where the panda box is in that one a bit better. So Emily's gonna be moved to our toolbox, because we shouldn't need the pistol at this point. That's the reason why, like, in the old route, weapon space was very important with the pipes, because you couldn't get the submachine gun and the magnum if you had too many pipes. Key for a hidden room. Whoa, what's that doing in George's office? Curious. The game is being not so subtle about it at this point, by the way. The game has given you all the clues as to who the new Raincoat Killer is. I do want my submachine gun out. Again, as I said earlier, there's just a small load there. I don't know why. Every time we go here. Inside the filing cabinet is, of course, some dude. Once he closes his mouth, you can shoot him.
Nice shot. Yes.
That's the rule for when to shoot the guy, is when he closes his mouth, you just shoot him at that point. Once again, we're going into the jail cell, but the key that we've got isn't for the door where Anagram is currently standing. It's the key for this cell, which then gets us this enemy. But taking your time to spawn in this time.
Bullseye, yes, nice shot.
Which gives us the key for the cell next door. It takes time to reload. You have to wait for the vines to disappear anyway. Yeah, we went in there to get the key for here. Don't ask. Deadly Premonition. Alright, so this is what we like to call heavy doors. There's a couple of these in the actual game itself. This is the only one in the run. You have to wait until a certain point, at which point you can let go. If you let go early, it'll swing back. If you hear the click, that's like you've gone a little bit over, but it's guaranteed to stay open. There is going to be one more... Whoops. I've got the cutscene doesn't start immediately. There's going to be one more heavy door in the run that hopefully we'll hit. This is a weird room that will get me shot if I'm not careful.
Great. Amazing. Nice shot.
Is it that guy?
Yes.
The guy on the left that's shot by the tree is fine because the tree blocks his first shot. So I don't want to get hit by you.
Yes.
There's one more enemy to my right.
Yes. Amazing. Great.
I want to stay over here because Carol's earrings. This is a sacrificial chamber hidden in the police department. And unfortunately, Carol has become the next victim. Yes, there's a sword in this game, by the way. With that is the second of our alternate sheriff's department, and it is time for the end. You can get Thomas's biscuit in the final set piece as well. Just chilling in one of the side rooms. Also, the end screens are very funny because you're going to get to see York using the assault rifle, which obviously we haven't used. And as you can see by the big old eyes in the background, one Sheriff George Woodsman is not a good boy. So, there was a conversation earlier, the one where we had the decision if we wanted to go to the Galaxy of Terror and spend time with everybody about, that actually reveals George's tragic backstory and about how he was whipped by his mother, like literally, and that has caused scars on his back with an upside down peace symbol. And that is your big hint about George. There, the sheriff's department, as you can see. There he goes. We gotta go after George. Now, there's gonna be more boss fights coming up in this place. If I can get the final boss fight, like, good, it will be a very good fight. It's quite hard to do, unfortunately. This should be deer heads? Yes, deer heads. Submachine gun. Avoid all the the enemies. Sometimes that one's a bit more to the right, so you can sneak by to the left. Unfortunately not. Looks like a red tree. Yup. Make sure you shoot the barrel. Remember, the explosions have a lingering hitbox, so the earlier you do that, the better. Straight over. Then I'm going to be getting spare ammo in this bit because I am down 1 round of Magnum, so we weren't able to buy it earlier. So obviously George has a very big, like, hunting, like, you know, background. There's a deer head in his office. That's why you shoot the deer heads. Shoot all 3. Opens the door. Thankfully, there is a good spot in here coming up that I can replenish all my ammo. Submachine gun will be good. On the left in that room is Thomas's biscuit. But I need more Magnum rounds, which, speaking of, am I reloaded? That's fine. 3 is good. As long as I am on 3. I did not mean to go to the Magnum for this. Uh-oh. I'll elevate this because I'm not going to get there in time. If you're quick enough off the draw and you don't, like, mess around like I did, you can just run up to this guy and just miss the axe. Remember what we said earlier, shoot the boxes that are slightly broken. I'll dodge it just in case. I don't want to take more damage at this point. I had to heal a little earlier than I would have liked earlier. Showdown time with him is close. Now, this is going to be the set piece where things get very crunchy, so I'd like everybody to thank the big bad Game-a-thon tech for trying to help your ears. Remember, I get this 20 decibels louder than you do. Things are gonna get crunchy. This set piece in particular is rough. So we get the key, and as you can see, there is a panda box right here, so I'll use this right now for my missing ammo. Otherwise, I definitely won't have enough for the final boss. Now, thankfully, I do have plenty of money at this point, as you can see. So if you have used up a little bit extra ammo, you can just buy a bunch. I'm that close to having full. I don't believe you. Also, you may have noticed on the way into this corridor, the vents on either side indicating hi. There it is. There's the crunch, baby. I'm so close. Why am I doing this? Hey. No! Lost my time. Yeah, as said, it was always going to get worse, I'm afraid. I did warn you, this is the sad piece. Remember, I'm getting it 20 decibels louder, so if I sound like I'm shouting, it's not intentional, but I am. I apologize. Thankfully, this game doesn't do the thing where if you reload 1 bullet, it uses up, like, the entirety of your ammo clip. Really? I was gonna say, I am close enough. See? I'm close enough. Woo, baby! Hear that? Windy in here. Oh, I love the audio of this game. Whilst this displays, I'll reload to full, because next time should be the boss. Yeah, and again, this isn't like my capture or the way I'm capturing the game. This is just how the audio is on the Switch version. I apologize. There's no way to fix it. It is just how this is. I need to be a little careful in here. Look how fast this enemy is. Let him go! He's dancing. If you don't move immediately, they will catch up to you and grab you. I do apologize for your ears again. The audio is a part of the experience, I'm afraid. Alright. So once again, Manco Killer, we can get through these boxes. We are going to evade this one. Hopefully I'm close enough. Yep, let's just go this way. And avoid the next axe. Perfect. Good stuff. Very good stuff. Let's end the Raincoat Killer legend here, Zach. We have one more very, very nasty corridor to get through. Which is not this one, it's actually the next one. Man in a red tree? Pretty much. But also, again, remember that unskippable cutscene from earlier? The amazing FK in the coffee? Remember that. It's important. This is the issue, is I'm going to get hit by that. Oh, I'm going to get hit by that through the cutscene, aren't I? Ooh, lucky. Anyway, Beer's on the bottom, X is on the top. Again, don't ask why I'm asking that. Don't worry about it. And that is the last insta-death QT of the game. Why do you keep doing that? And once again, the ghost of Anagram is in... Oh no, she's actually not in us, but I'm wrong. But this is going to be very, very symbolic right here. We've got a long walk up the stairs. Now the downside is I hope I don't have to reload. I should reload. I should reload. Not gonna, but I should. Just want it on the record that I should reload. If I die in phase 3, it's my own fault. As long as it doesn't do what it did earlier in my practice run, we'll be fine. So, if I can do this correctly, phase 1 of this fight is so free, and it's so fast. As you probably guess, our Raincoat Killer is, of course, George. Love G. You started with that? Hate you, George. You're supposed to walk forward and you just shoot him in the back. Thanks, George. Thankfully, I'm used to George giving me some bad options. So George is trying to get immortality via sacrificing victims with red seeds in them. Which did kind of cause this. You're doing this again? But this phase you want to go to his other side. That's fine, because I can hopefully... can't. Okay, stop throwing it. I'm going to get you to intentionally hit me in a second if you don't give me a good pattern. Oh my god. George, I'm going to just reload. Please, you know, do the thing. That works. It doesn't. You have not done either of your axe swings. Dude. That also works. Thanks. George. Why am I hitting the weak spot? Why did that not work? Again. You did the one. You're supposed to do a 2 combo. George. Okay, George is trolling me. Okay, I can force this out. If I run close to him, he does, like, either a QT attack, or I guess he'll do this again. I've never seen George throw this many axes. George, you need to play me here, buddy. Speedrun. Thank you. Are you kidding me? I've never seen him throw this many axes in my life. Go away, George. Okay, I had enough time to reload. So for phase 3, it's going to get a bit loud. I am special. We just shoot the axe. I didn't have to reload, but I did in time. Thanks, George. George ruined any chance with BB. We were actually not too far behind until then. Thanks, George. If you're wondering how much time that cost me 52 seconds. Thanks, George. Thanks, George. Appreciate you. Thanks, George. Thanks, George. Thanks, George. Rough old fight. Alright. We're in the red room. And they're literally, well, I say everybody's here. Most people are here. We got the angels, Isaac and Isaiah, who, they're not dead, by the way. And here we all just want to alternate between right and left because it changes your camera position after speaking to everybody. There's Anna. Anna's here. Literally, you want to say everyone's here. Everyone's here. Like, you got Becky, you got Carol, you got Diane. All the fairies of the forest. Which also does include, would you believe it? Thomas. And also includes, as I said you'd see earlier, my faceless dad. My dad. And also includes, would you believe it? Mother! Yes, her model is based off of Emily's. It's not Emily, that is our mother. They just didn't want to make another model for a person without a face, so it's just like, hey, let's use Emily. Speaking of, here's Emily with Harry in the White Room. Flashbang, by the way. So. We've beaten the final boss. Everything is nicely wrapped up in a neat bow, right? When we wake up from the hospital, Emily's nowhere to be found, and we get given a map and a key by one Forrest Kaysen. Game, please don't crash. I've never had it crash in this cutscene before. Wow. I've never had it crash in this cutscene. Wow. I don't think this is coming back. All right. This is why we make safety saves, chat. This is why we make safety saves. We might be a little slightly bit overestimate because of that. I've literally never had it like actually breaking that load screen. We'll load that same save up, and then if I did save after George, right? If I haven't got the save here or it happens again, I do have a proper full complete file that I can just pull from the next chapter. And we'll just skip a driving section, that's all. Horn? Sounds about right. It's never happened before. That actually has never happened to me before. Yeah, funnily enough, I get to say the line. It's something that I expect, considering how temperamental Deadly Premonition can be. The beef was very high quality. Oh, that I didn't save. This is why we have safety profiles. This is why we have safety profiles. Does anyone remember what chapter that was? Ooh, that's an issue. I'm not going to have the bullets for the final boss. Ew. 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 That's a bad crash point. Wow, that's actually real terrible. Let me think. Select chapter, epilogue, thingy. It was Dawn, so yeah, you, red tree. Red tree. I'm not gonna have the ammo for this. That's not great. Oh, hey, we're back. Let me think. How do I fix this? Because there's no ammo purchase point. Oh boy. Because the gunsmith ain't open anymore. I'm gonna have to wait till phase 3 boss and have it actually break boxes. Might have to. Eee. I gotta play the best, most accurate Deadly Premonition of my life. Concerning. Exceedingly concerning, actually. Ugh. Had a suspicion this game wasn't gonna play fully nice tonight. This is why you do safety profiles, chat. We are finishing this run. Yeah, no, there is no chance for me to get ammo again. Huh. Phase 1 should be fine. I should have enough, like, bullets for phase 1. It's phase 3 that is the concern. I'm sure I'll be fine. Gonna give it a second here before I hit start, skip the cutscene, and see if that helps it a little bit. Worst, I can go back to, yeah, there we go. Worst, I can go back to the oldie method of doing phase 1, which won't be too bad. So, welcome back to the alternate Green Veil. Thankfully, the game remembers we have Quint's car. It would remember I had Quint's car if, like, we didn't have to do the safety save anyway. So as you'll see, as York says,
I truly believe George was the murderer that we were after.
Which he is.
Of course, does not solve all the murders related to the Red Seeds. I do not know if what Harry said is true at all. The answer to the mystery of those Red Seeds is here in this town.
It is. You've already seen it.
I failed as an FBI agent. I left Emily alone as I slept.
I can't get ammo out of a save point, can I? There's no handed boxes on the map, unfortunately.
To the location written in casings.
Yeah, because this is the alternate Greenvale. That's the reason why we can't go to Wesley's and just buy ammo. Slightly problematic. I'm pretty confident I can't use the save points to, like, use, like, ammo and stuff, or, like, buy ammo and stuff. If I pass one, I might try. We might be fine anyway, we'll see. Now, worse, we're going to be using our pistol, and it's going to be a little bit slower. If we can just get to phase 3 of the final boss, it'll be completely fine, because phase 3 of the final boss will actually give me, will actually give me... You know what? This is bad. Oh, this is bad. This dog's gonna knock me over. So, there are giant dogs now. These giant dogs will actually, like, ram your car over and flip you. They're not too bad. If they spawn on top of you, they will actually force you through the floor, out of bounds, and kill you. So the runners were on brand for this marathon. Fantastic. It shouldn't be too bad. Like, at worst, at least we have the pistol. It's just going to take a little while longer. If I can get to phase 3, I can, like, get some bullets in that phase, and it won't be too bad. It's just going to take a little while longer. Whose house is that? They're open. I don't think they have a thing inside that I can get some bullets from. Actually, that's open. Why is that open? It shouldn't be open. Huh. If that's true, if the gas station's open... No, it's closed. Damn. I don't know why that house was open. Because, like, yeah, Wesley's the gunsmith is up ahead. I'm actually just going to go over there and check. Because if Wesley's is open, that fixes all that problems. And Wesley's is, like, on the alternate path to where we need to go. I think it's going to be closed. Get out of my car. I'll get out of my car, game. Can I not? You can't get out of the car! Oh, this game. Oh, this game. I love this game. How dare you? You have foiled me again. You have 100% foiled me again. Anyway, the key is to George's house. Remember back at the start where I pointed out George's house had a red tree? Yep, that's your hint. The only house in town that has a red tree is George's, because George got given a red seedling a long time ago from one Forrest Kaysen. This is going to be a bit of speed tech, hopefully. I need to get the right angle here. I did not. Damn. All right. Gonna have to do the old-fashioned bit. If you get the right angle here, you can push straight through. Oh, gun box in here, is there? Hold on. But that's what happens if you let go, by the way. There's a save point. You're just a save, right? I can't even save? What's the point of having that there? Video game! What is this video game? I love this game so much, and yet right now. So unfortunately in George's basement is a whole picture wall of photos of Emily, and in here is George's mother, which, remember when we got that flower? You'll see in one of the background shots, George's mother ain't doing too hot. That'd be her. So, York now remembers what happened to his parents a long time ago, in that something similar happened to them that happened to George's parents. However, I'm going to save the video game. Before we get to that, you throw him back to the chapter select? You might throw him back to chapter select. Yeah, it does. Okay. Second one. For that, we've got one thing we need to go and do. When I said this game had 2 playable characters earlier, I lied. It's free. Say hello to the original Raincoat Killer, not George. This is Harry's father. So, remember the warning, the 13th bell. You have until the bell strikes 13. Now, unfortunately, you probably can't see it with the way my splits are set up, but my final split is called Amazing Grace. Yup. I have a history with this song. I have a big history with this song. For some reason, I keep speedrunning games that have Amazing Grace in it. OG Yakuza 1, Yakuza Kiwami 1, this. I think Deadly Premonition 2's credits has Amazing Grace as well. I might be wrong on that one. I keep running games that have Amazing Grace in it. I hate this song. I have a severe hatred for this very song. Yeah, the grass actually causes sparks as well. But yeah, this is back in the 50s. This is back in 56. This is when, like, again, the government were pumping the gas out, causing all the residents to go like this. Which is why in the alternate sections you see them like the same. just laughing. You can actually, like, fight as the Raincoat Killer. It's kind of fun. Once you reach this point, the game says no going back at this bit. But you are, again, strict on time. Remember, 13 bell tolls, and we're already at number 4. Sitting on nothing, listen. It's Deadly Premonition. Wonderful made video game. You know, after the out of bounds going like successfully, I did fool myself into thinking that this run was going to go off without a hitch, and then obviously that crash happened. That's such a shame. That's such a shame. We almost got there. We almost got there without any Deadly Premonition shenanigans. But this is important, chat. Like, if ever you do speedruns and you submit things to marathons that you know have, you know, potentially problematic elements in it, like, make sure you have, like, backup saves and stuff like that. Also, some things here don't exist. The top part of this tree just doesn't exist. Yeah. Yeah. One part of the tree exists, the top part doesn't. And if you haven't already guessed where we're heading from what you've seen so far in the run, we are heading to the clock tower. And this is the story that Harry told us. You now get this timer at the bottom. As long as you go ahead, you won't have any problems. At the top of the clock tower, this is where you find out who the main villain of this is. It's not George. Remember, a good 2 hours and 50 minutes ago, F.K. in the coffee. Forrest Kaysen. The game told you at the very beginning, Forrest Kaysen. So these are all our friends. There is a bit of a speed tech here to get past some of this fire. Oh, do I have... Oh, it's kept my ammo from my last run. Oh, baby, here we go. Oh, here we go. I got a bit more of an issue in that I don't have healing items then. Wait. I can shave. Panda box. Oh, thank you. The game was smart. The game was very smart. Yes. Fantastic. We're all good. I would like 1 round of submachine guns. I'm gonna need 1 round. Give me those magnum bullets. Oh, game, you're beautiful. Forgot this place existed. Oh, you're beautiful. 1 more. Actually, 1 more if I can, because honestly, I'm gonna need all of it. Honk. Like that. If you can't buy anything else, just honk.
Open.
This is the point of no return, but the point of no return was like an hour and a half ago. Just to put that out there. A lot of story is about to happen. Things are gonna get weird. Things are gonna look a little different. Emily's not doing good. Thanks to this jackass.
Decide for yourself.
This jackass who also did the same to George's mother and the same to our parents. There is only one correct answer for this, and unfortunately, it's the bottom one. Now, you might notice York's looking a little different, because this is Zach. This whole game, you've been wondering, who's Zach? Is that us? Is that us, the player? No. This is Zach. When Forrest Kaysen killed York's parents in front of him, he basically got traumatized and created this, like, not alternate personality, but like a different version of himself. I've got a good shot here. That's perfect. I shouldn't be doing this here because that's kind of bad. Yeah, that's why. That's fine. We'll go back up. I'll shoot again. I should have bought healing items when I was in the Panda Bear, actually, because I definitely don't have that many left. Please get some shots off. So yeah, you can shoot Forrest Kaysen. The reason I'm running left and right here is to avoid QTEs, as you do. Unfortunately, having to reload here sucks. Doing good damage. You have enough time to reload if you do it immediately, like, which is what I should have been doing. And then I'm going to hold here to get all the shots off in the front phase. But yeah, each of these, like, roll forwards and backwards, like, lead into QTs. So as long as you are fine. You don't have to hit him in the head, but if you can hit him in the head, you're guaranteed 3 damage. A bit more. Nice. Okay. Phase 2. This is one of the worst boss fights in the world.
How far you can run?
Yeah. They put one of these sections in the final boss. Forrest is looking a little... He's fine. He's a growing boy. So, we're going to get a bunch of QTs. These QTs will always be either B, A, or XY. Or YX even. So, thankfully, it's never like random like XB or like AY, etc. It's always going to be one of those two. Which, if you are quick enough at your stick wiggling, or ideally on keyboard using 2 fingers, you can just avoid most of the attacks here. As long as I don't mess up my timing, I can avoid these as well, which is good, because if any of these hit me, I am going to lose all of my HP, and I'm going to, like, run slowly. Yes, the low HP run slowly also applies to this bit.
Annoying little boss.
Same to you. Kason? Here comes the crunch again, by the way. You can tell when you're getting near the end because you will start to see bricks on the bottom stairs, but not right now. I'll say at some point you're going to give me a BA at some point.
You're an annoying little boss.
Sometimes he'll just rush you immediately, which is kind of nice. The hair, I kind of shot him with a lot of bullets, so they're all in his hair now. I don't know, it's just like that. He's gone Super Saiyan. The weirdest Super Saiyan form I've ever seen in my life. I needed to dodge that one. That sucks. I was not expecting the quick one. You like it even more? This bit just sucks so much. I hate this so much. That is an evade because it's so close. Actually, I think that was a slow one. I think that would have been fine. There's the bricks. We're almost out. There's the Tower Bell. It looks like we're going down. We're going up the clock tower, by the way. We are technically going down because it's the alternate version, but yeah, we are going up the clock tower. I don't know. Ooh, that was lucky. That almost hit me. All right. Final boss. Which I kind of need to reload for. So, you'll never guess where the weak spot is. It's the doll. The downside is when he's doing this animation, you can't shoot the doll, and you also have to get a headshot. Thank you, Forrest Jason. How did that not count? Now you can see why I was worried about my ammo. I haven't been hitting these shots for a while. Good shot. You can get a spare one off at the end just as it gets like vulnerable. You won't stagger him. He does a couple of attacks that actually aren't too bad because you can get like multiple shots off against the weak spot there. This is going well. I'm in a good angle here where I can hit the doll and hit it again afterwards. I missed. If I'd aimed it a little bit lower, it would have been fine. You want to move away because that actually has a giant AoE on it. What? A bit more to the right. Not too bad shots. I'm getting good like double shots here. Not too bad. Good move. Should be one shot left, hopefully. Reload, maybe? Maybe reload? I didn't count, he moved! No! Forrest! Jason! I put that doll away. We're done with the Magnum. We don't need it anymore. So, he's wised up now that he's on 1 HP. He can hide the doll. But where is the doll? I'm going to stand about here in the hopes that he does an attack relatively early. Where could the doll be? I have no idea. Punch me early, please. Sometimes he has to walk around a bit, which sucks. Good. Move away from this one, because you don't want to get hit by the shockwave. You'll lose your opportunity to get on the hand. Climb up to the shoulder, and there it is. in the front pouch. And that is the final boss. Almost GG. Not quite just yet, but that's almost GG. And so all the shooting we're doing at the very least. And yep, that's the final boss. Deadly Premonition is one heck of a trip. Lots of people die. Like, we've technically lost York. We've lost Emily. We've lost Thomas and their amazing cooking. Oh no. Just gonna throw him back to the chapter select for one last time. Whenever you have to like select via chapter select, you have to go back to like the chapters. But this is gonna be our epilogue. It's literally called epilogue. So, yep. Literally all we need to do is say our goodbyes. And then that's the end of the run. So yes, this picture that we saw earlier in Harry's mansion, that is indeed everybody who became one of the fairies of the forest. I mean, yup. She had a tree in her stomach, unfortunately. Go back to the original place Anna's body was found. And then we just have one last travel left. We gotta go do one more important thing. And that is, of course, sleep! Let's go sleep at the hotel. I don't know what causes that sound effect there, but it always goes off there. Either way, that's gonna be pretty much the end of the run. I'm still under estimate despite the game giving us some problems. I guess this is goodbye, Zach. GG.
And this is goodbye, Zach.
That is GG for Big Bad Game-a-thon as well.
Good night, Zach. And sleep tight.
I'm stunned I'm underestimate after having the game crash on me. I would never have guessed that would have happened. I was on PB pace for like the majority of this run, and then obviously Thomas happened. So, and then the crash happened. So, oof. Oh well. Either way, GG. That's also a picture from like 50 years ago. Polly and
what's that
good
picture?
old Forest Cason. But yeah, no.
Oh, that.
Thank you all very much. Again, massive thank you to Big Bad Game-a-thon for having me and the run.
50 years ago.
That's right.
That's me in the middle.
That's me in the middle.
That's me in the spotlight.
I was pretty popular back then. Men were all.
I love this game. Like, I know I submit it's a marathon called Big Bad Game-a-thon, but I adore this run to bits. It's a great game. If you want to play it, I would recommend the Switch version, just because you don't have to go through 20 hoops to try and get the game to work.
Mr. Morgan.
So yeah.
I'm sorry.
Thanks for watching, and